Hello, everybody. Oh, there are people here. Okay. I haven't done this in months, so I'm making sure I am doing it right. Do I have this on? Hello, let me know if you guys hear me correctly and stuff. I want to make sure I didn't mess it up and I'm totally unstraight. I wore this. I thought it was fitting that I wear a Game of Thrones shirt because that's when I was banned for 3 months. Howdy, brother. How are you, sir? My Hodor shirt in honor of getting banned for 3 months for Game of Thrones premiere. I'm just going to let a couple people get in the room. I'm assuming some of the old names will show up. I'm assuming I might see Steph, maybe Dan, maybe Snow. We were a small group back then. 3 months ago when I last live streamed, I think I had 200 subscribers. Now I have almost 2,000. So 10 times what I had the last live stream. What are you doing, Ray? I saw Lion King last night. The live action Lion King, not the original. What's up, bud? I'm going to be starting season 5 tomorrow. Tomorrow I will have episode 1, season 5. I think that says R&B Battle. I don't have my glasses on. Just got back from seeing Endgame for the 3rd time. Did you see the Endgame that had the re-release stuff with the end credits, Ray? I don't know if that's in every one or if you have to go to specific theaters. I'm pretty sure they all include that now. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if they had separate theaters that did that, but I saw the scenes. I didn't go back to see them, though. I had a friend show me a link to them. But, I mean, the Hulk scene was pretty cool, but totally unnecessary, and I thought a bit of a waste if you went back just to see that. I know, that was the only thing. The Carl Winslow scene. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, Endgame re-released in theaters with an end credit scene that was taken out of the movie, I think. And it was Carl Winslow, also from Die Hard, the cop, Reginald Williams? I don't know. But he was in the end credit scene with the Hulk, and they did sort of like a shout out to Die Hard. Very cool. I'm also going to finish Stranger Things 3 this weekend. I've just been really busy. And if I sound weird and look weird and my bed's a little messy, I was actually called out of work today. I was miserable all day. So if I look a little under the weather, it is because I was dying all morning. But I actually feel a lot better now. And I wanted to do this. I was looking forward to this. So don't mind me if I sound and look horrible. Always playing the cop. Yeah. Yeah. What is his name, Ray? Carl Winslow's name, Reginald something. It might be Reginald Williams, Reginald Jackson. I don't know. One of those. But I'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. You know the routine. I have not seen the Walking Dead 10 trailer yet. Like I said, I was not feeling good at all earlier. Totally missed The Witcher and the Walking Dead 10 season 10 trailer. I hear it is ridiculously amazing, but people are freaking out about it. I don't know what exactly. I figured maybe if you guys want, I'll do a live reaction of that or something, but like further on, I'll do that if that is something you'd like to see. I hear it is, I don't know. There are pictures of Michonne on the thumbnails and stuff like that. Reginald Johnson. I said Jackson or Williams Johnson, but he's playing the cop. But yes, so I did enjoy that he was in that after credit scene. I stopped watching Walking Dead after Rick. I apologize. I have to clear my throat. I stopped watching Walking Dead after Rick and the bridge episode. So, like, what was that? Is that mid-season? Or was that, I think you only missed a couple episodes. I'm trying to remember when that happened. That might have been mid-season. It actually got really, really good after that. I would say one of the second half of the seasons Probably one of the best second half of the seasons. Definitely, I stopped watching myself. I quit for like 2 or 3 seasons. My mom is a diehard fan, so she told me last season, I think she said it started getting good again. So I caught up last season, and then I watched this season live. I have a bunch of reactions on my channel of the epic scenes that happen. But Seedless Watermelon says Barry. I think I don't know if you're the one I commented to earlier. Someone else that looked like it might have been your name. I don't know. Might have been you. Somebody commented in my trailer reaction video saying, "Where's the Barry reactions?" Just letting you guys know that maybe some people weren't clear. A couple times people commented me assuming that all those shows I did react to were going to be like weekly reactions. There was a poll that we did, and it was based off of the view counts. So only the show that won was the one I did, which was Adventure Time. I also said I would do Misfits whenever I could because I really do enjoy Misfits, and it was like a close runner-up, even though Adventure Time later on took off. Like Adventure Time did much better in the long run, but I still enjoy Misfits, and I do enjoy Barry, but Barry didn't win. I think it got like 3rd or 4th. I do want to do Barry. I'm pretty sure right after I finish The Wire, I'm going to replace The Wire with Barry because I want to do basically the 6 shows I did that with are shows I really want to see. So at some point, I'm going to react to them. I've waited this long to watch them. I'm not going to like go, I'm not going to react to that one because I want to watch it now. Most of those shows that were on that list are shows that are like 5 years to 20 years old. So odds are at one point I will react to all the shows that were in that like 6 show running, except the 100. I said I wasn't going to react to the 100 because even with doing multiple shout outs and reminders and letting people know it was out there, it didn't seem like anyone cared about the 100. So I watched that on my own now. Did you start watching reaction? Yes. Honestly, I never even knew making a reaction videos like this and stuff was a thing. I basically was watching American Mom, Jimmy Macram. Who else was the big ones back then? Blind Wave does a lot. The Normies. I watched all those, and I'm a diehard fan of Lost. Lost is my favorite show, thing, movie, everything. Like I rewatch Lost constantly, like a sickness, and I would watch all them react to Lost. Jimmy Macram, American Mom, I think were first at that. I think Blind Wave never did it, and the Normies are doing it now. So I've been following the Normies, rewatching Lost through them. But Lost is amazing, and yes, that is how I got into reaction videos because there were a lot of shows people say I'm entertaining, I talk a lot, I know, and there were a lot of like major shows like The Wire, Deadwood, stuff like that I'd never seen. So people were like, you should just do this. It was a good way to communicate with my family and friends that I really don't see a lot because they don't live around here. So I could be like, hey, I popped up this video, you should watch it, and we'll like talk about it. So it kind of just like became a thing because of that. But yes, I did watch reaction videos. Yeah. I mean, I've learned to love all the seasons of Lost. I was in I don't know how many times you've seen Lost. Maybe you've only seen it once. After I had seen it once through, I despised the later seasons, like mainly 6, even though 5, I mean, like after the writer's strike, basically it got weird. So like right around season 4 is where it started declining, and 6 was weird. Yeah. See, when I watched it once, I was in the same boat, but having rewatched it over and over, I honestly would say I probably have watched it completely through like 7 times, maybe 8 times. And you start realizing that it actually all makes a lot more sense than a first watch through. I feel like it's not just me making excuses for it. I feel like it really does need several watch throughs because there's just so much going on and so much you don't understand the first time that like later in the future, you're like, oh, that's making a reference to this and that. Going back through 2, 3, 4 times, I know that references are already coming up and I notice things I didn't notice. I still see things I didn't notice the first time around. People still point things out to me. There's still probably things I haven't seen or don't even know about yet, having watched it through so many times, but it is so good. Yeah, I'm watching Hogwarts right now too, Ray. Hogwarts is also reacting to Lost. They're going through it pretty quick. There's also 2 other guys, Fear of Reactions. And I can't remember the other girl. It's a girl with purple hair, but right now there's like 4 or 5 like pretty big reactors going through Lost right now. And they're all, I think 2 or 3 of them are in season 6. And the other 3 or 4 are all right in the same area of season 3 and season 4. Then there's like all these other up and coming reactors doing stuff, but like I haven't started watching them yet because they haven't quite perfected their style yet. And I would rather just like marathon a bunch of them. I have Fear of the Walking Dead. I have only seen maybe the first half of season 1. Honestly, it was one of those times where like I watched it with people and we were talking and doing other things. So I barely remember it. All I remember about Fear was like a drugged out kid. I think he was Hispanic and he was like doing drugs. And then the outbreak happened and they were hiding in a house. I don't know. I remember very, very little, if anything at all, besides there was a kid that was on drugs. The Shield has been recommended to me many times. I'm reading R&B's comment, and he's asking if any older shows I get requests for that I'm thinking of doing. The Shield I get requests for all the time. My parents even watch it all the time, and they loved it. They tell me they want me to watch it because then they could actually relate to half the things I talk about. Most of the shows I react to, my parents don't watch or haven't watched. So shows like The Shield that they've seen, they want me to react to so they could kind of talk about it, I guess, like connect. Fear the Walking Dead was pretty good for a while, and then it turned to crap. Steph, good to see you, by the way, Steph. I knew you'd eventually be in the room. What was I going to say? Fear the Walking Dead was pretty good. I heard last season of Fear actually got much better, much similar to The Walking Dead, in my opinion, where like the most recent season really like blew me away. People were telling me Fear like declined, and then like last season or maybe the season before it started getting much better. I could be wrong about that. I don't know. I've never seen it, but I'm wondering if it kind of is making like an upwards climb like The Walking did like a huge jump in my opinion. Have you ever seen Fringe? It kind of scratches that lost itch. I have not seen Fringe, Ray. I think I tried to watch an episode back before, way before I started reacting and stuff like that. I think it was like, I don't know, maybe the show was in its 3rd season, but that was when like you didn't have options for streaming services. This is how long ago that was. So I it's not that I didn't like it. I think I just didn't have access to it. And I just kind of like never really watched it or got into it. But I know Joshua Jackson from Dawson's Creek's in it. And the crazy guy, I think, is somebody else. I don't know. But I do get many requests for it, and I do want to see it. Maybe I'll watch that. See, I did like, I think the Lost thing, like the whole island, the mystery of the island, like got me every time. Whereas like Fringe takes place in the real world, or is it like supernatural? I guess maybe, I don't know, but I don't know. There's no show like Lost in my opinion. Would you want to react to some more popular shows that get hundreds of thousands of views? Honestly, The Wire is why I started doing this, for a reason. And then all these other shows started catching on. And I kind of fell into the niche of watching the older HBO shows that I'd never seen because I was like always big with HBO, Oz, Sopranos, stuff like that, Game of Thrones. But I was going to start doing Rise of the Shield Hero and a couple other animes. I just ran out of time, and The Wire takes up half my week. So honestly, once The Wire ends, that'll open up half my week, and I'm definitely going to start branching off into like other things. I definitely do dig anime. I used to watch anime. There was like probably a period of my life where all I watched was anime for like 10 years. This is going back before Blu-rays, like at the dawn of DVD. So I haven't watched a lot of anime recently. The only thing I could remember seeing was I've seen, what the hell was it that I just saw? Oh, Attack on Titan. I saw the first season of Attack on Titan, and I saw another show too. What the hell is that? Something about the Abyss. I watched that all the way through. Those are the only 2 animes I can think of that I've seen of recent years. But Something Into the Abyss was amazing. BoJack Horseman is one show I have not seen, but I wonder. I probably could watch them pretty easy too because I could. They're probably short episodes. I'm assuming. I'm thinking BoJack Horseman is one of those shows that are only like 10 or 15-minute episodes, kind of like Adventure Time. So that would actually be an easy show to do. I just feel like, I mean, I could be wrong because I've never seen it, but I feel like BoJack Horseman might be in the vein of Adventure Time, like humor, like wacky off the wall humor. My second favorite sitcom, Seedless. BoJack is your second favorite sitcom ever, or like current? Because that is high praise. 20-minute episodes. BoJack is great. It gets dark. Second favorite of all time. What is your first Seedless? I'm very curious. Because I've actually heard that from a lot of people about BoJack, but I'm just curious what your taste is like. It's not anime, but I've been watching The Tick recently. Steph, are you talking about the live action Tick that's on Hulu? I think it is. I can't watch it because I don't have Hulu right now. Oh my God, It's Always Sunny. Well, I got to give it to you because It's Always Sunny might be my favorite comedy of all time. It's definitely not my favorite show of all time, but It's Always Sunny might be my favorite. It has consistently been good. I don't ever remember It's Always Sunny having like a bad season. There are seasons that aren't as good as others, but that's because, in my opinion, some seasons are so good. I don't know. I definitely, even if Always Sunny isn't my favorite comedy show of all time, it is definitely by far the most consistently funny I've seen in my lifetime. I enjoy BoJack as much as I enjoyed The Wire. All right, so yeah, everyone's giving high praise. My brother, you got Barbad saying the same thing. Last season was the worst, but it's still pretty good. I agree. I think Seedless about the last season of It's Always Sunny. I think it's basically that I hadn't seen it in so long that anything always sunny is like better than most comedy. So I think I was in like a drought and like I binge watched the whole season and it was enough to satisfy me because it's just still better than half the shit out there. Even the worst season is better than half the shit out there. The latest live action version of that show. Okay, so it was Amazon. I don't have Amazon either. Actually, I think I do with Prime. Maybe I do get that. Yeah, I think I do with Prime because I do have Amazon Prime. Is Jesse going to hop on board for anything soon? Jesse, for those of you who do not know, Jessica is my sister. She did the Game of Thrones reactions with me. She is always very busy doing her own thing. Game of Thrones and Walking Dead are the only two shows I could think of that we both watch. We both watch Stranger Things and stuff like that. She is very mad that I have not finished yet because I would have finished in day one, but I want to finish as I watch and edit them. So the editing process is making me fall way behind. I'm on episode 5 of Stranger Things, season 3, the new season. She finished like the first 2 days and she's been wanting to talk to me about it and I can't talk to her. So I think this weekend I'm going to finish. I'm just going to binge watch them all, film them all, and then I'll edit them as I go. Because honestly, I'm afraid I'm going to get spoiled at this point and she wants to talk to me about it. So I'm just going to binge watch them all and then I'll edit them up. I'll probably have them all out and for you guys to see by the end of next week. I just have a ceremony to go tomorrow. Someone in my family died. So tomorrow I'm going to be taken up mostly by the ceremony and then I'm going to do The Wire. And then Sunday, I'll probably try to finish it up. I'm going to try to binge watch them. So hopefully I could get that done. That way I could at least talk about it with people and I don't get the spoiler effect. I hear the ending. I hear the last 20 minutes of Stranger Things season 3 is a hysterical like sob fest. I don't know if that's good or bad. I've not been spoiled beyond that. People were just like, oh, the finale started out like really good. I was really like slow and I didn't have good expectations. And then they said the last 20 minutes blew them away, sob fest, and the best season of the 3. That's what I hear from the majority of the people I talk to. So do any Star Trek. That's probably the best plans. Do you Star Trek discuss? See, I haven't watched any Star Trek. The only Star Trek I saw was the first episode of Next Generation, because that was recommended by my brother, my cousin, a lot of my friends. They say my cousin and maybe a couple other people say Star Trek Next Generation is their number one show of all time. I believe you think the same thing. Ray's in the chat. Ray, aren't you like real high up there with the Next Generation? It might not be your top show, but I think it's like in your top 10. I could be wrong, but I know it's in Chris's. I think it's Chris's number one. I know it's Alan, my friend Alan. I know he's like in his top 3, maybe 4. The Next Generation is fantastic. See, I would definitely react to Always Sunny, but I've seen every episode of Always Sunny 100 times. If anything, I could literally probably pinpoint everything that happens in every episode because I've just seen it so much. I'm going to take a sip of water. I was always all about Saint Voyager. Oh, Star Trek Voyager. I'm like, Saint Voyager. Why do I look like I'm falling off this chair? I feel like my chair is breaking, guys. I put a lot of abuse on this chair. I feel like it is starting to, like, look at this. This thing is not supposed to move like that, I don't think. But anyway, what about The Sopranos? Sopranos, Donkey. I feel like you've been in live chats before. I definitely remember talking to you. Sopranos, I have watched, like Game of Thrones, like Lost. I have seen that show from beginning to end probably 5 or 6 times. So I've watched Sopranos. It's probably the top 3 most watched show I would say I've done. I would say Lost, Sopranos, and Game of Thrones. Whenever a reactor, I'm sorry, guys. I said earlier I wasn't feeling well. So if I keep clearing my throat, I apologize. But I said earlier that anytime a reactor throws up Lost or Game of Thrones or Sopranos, I'm right on that shit. I love watching people react to it. They're probably 3 of my favorite shows of all time. I also really dig Twin Peaks. No one has reacted to Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks is such a great, amazing, bizarre show. I wish I reacted to it. I only saw it for the first time like 2-3 years ago, watched it from beginning to end, then watched the new one that came out on Showtime, I believe. That's why I did it. Because when the one came out on Showtime, people were like, dude, this show is ridiculous. You got to watch it. And it is continuing from the original. So I was like, well, I can't watch like the new one without the old one. And I've always heard it is like a very bizarre sci-fi kind of show. And I really, really dig that style. Oh my God, was it amazing? Oh, are you talking about? I think he's seen The Sopranos. Yeah, my favorite TV drama. But oh my God, yes, Twin Peaks. I wish someone reacted to that. Maybe it's that the people that know about it have seen it 100 times, and there are very few people that know about it that care to watch it because there's just so much new content. Like every other day, Netflix releases a new show. It's why I'm always falling behind on my actually scheduled shows because I'm like, oh, I want to watch Stranger Things 3, but I want to react to it. But the editing process takes so long. So I start bombarding myself and overwhelming myself with things I probably shouldn't. And hence why I still have not finished Stranger Things 3. But Twin Peaks is one I need someone to react to. I wish there was some reactor out there that would watch Twin Peaks. Fargo, I have not seen. I actually have Fargo. I have it on Blu-ray, season 1 and 2. I don't know how many seasons of Fargo there are, but I think I have seasons 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. Someone got it for me as a gift, never even opened it, but I hear very good things about it. And I think it was in one of the polls I did earlier on. I think the poll that won Deadwood, I think I had Fargo on that poll, but I do have it. Yeah, everyone I talk to says Fargo is amazing. I feel like Fargo is one of those shows that a lot of people just haven't seen. Like I have never heard anybody say Fargo was bad. So basically, if you've seen Fargo, it's epic, and but like I just think not enough people have seen it. Personal opinion. Game of Thrones after season 4, very downhill, and Lost, nothing is actually resolved. I'm not going to argue with that. Sopranos, though, now that is the shit. Yep, Sopranos, like if anything could be complained about the Sopranos, it's the ending. And I'm one of those people that kind of fall into limbo where I'm like, it is what it is. I respect the choice. I'm not like angry about it or whatever, but the ending of The Sopranos, spoiler alert for the 9 people in the room, but at the end of Sopranos, we don't know what happens. They're all sitting at a diner table and the doorbell rings. I think it's Meadow coming inside, or Meadow's already sitting down. The door, little bell rings on the door and it goes to black. I remember watching that live with my parents. We watched it every week. It was like I'm an Italian. It was a big Italian show to watch together as a family. My dad would literally make like pasta and meatballs. We get like fresh bread Sunday night, all sit down and watch Sopranos. And I remember being one of those people thinking that when it went to black, that our cable cut out. We all like jumped up. Everyone was screaming and yelling, like, who hit the wire? Who unplugged the TV? What happened? Blah, blah, blah. And then you find out, no, that's just how the show ended. It just went to black and you don't know. And having thought on it and watched it many, many times, I'm okay with it. It's like, it leaves it up to your imagination. What are they going to do? If the guy comes in and shoots Tony, then the episode ends, it's the finale. So they're never going to tell you. So it's like, no matter how they ended it at that point, you're going to be like, oh my God, now I'm never going to know this. It's like any way that you slice it, even if they just sat there and they're eating dinner, it's like, what's going to happen with the family? We don't know. They're just sitting there having dinner. And clearly there is much more to the story. So any way you do it, it's like, it's going to piss somebody off. Christopher. I had to read that like 2 or 3 times because I'm like, I'm definitely reading something wrong. Well, I don't know how many of you have read up on the Soprano movie coming out next year, but it is a prequel. And James Gandolfini's son in real life is playing Tony's father as a young Tony's father, I think. I think that's what it is. Yeah, I think James Gandolfini's son is playing Tony Soprano's father in the prequel movie to Sopranos, and we're going to see little Christopher and little Tony Soprano as, like how their fathers did it. Oh, so it is young. My bad. I'm assuming he's right. He is playing young Tony Soprano. So James Gandolfini's son in real life is playing young Tony Soprano. Now, Seedless, maybe I said that wrong too. Is it revolving around young Tony Soprano or the interactions of Christopher's father and Tony's father? I think it's more so that. I think it's Tony's father and Christopher's father, and like young Tony is like learning the ropes, so to speak. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. I don't know. Eventually, he will probably answer. But I am very curious to talk to people about Lion King that I saw last night. Probably. Okay. But I saw Lion King last night. I will talk about whatever you guys want. You throw up questions, have at it. But Lion King, I am one of those people. I was watching when I got home. The Nostalgia Critic did a big review. Stuckman did a review. Angry Joe did a review. I wanted to see their opinion because I fall into the boat of not having liked it at all. I thought it was a money grab. It looked beautiful. Don't get me wrong. The technology is impressive. The CGI is impressive, but it was one of those movies where you're making a remake of a perfect movie in my mind. Lion King is probably one of my top 3, maybe one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. And it was an unnecessary remake. I understand they're remaking everything live action, and I don't mind it. And I don't hate on the movie. I'm not saying it's the most horrible movie ever. It was just totally unnecessary. And the original blew it away in every aspect in my mind, from the songs to the way they emote themselves. There's no emotion in the real live action Lion King. They literally have the same stoic face. And I understand that's what animals look like, but that's why you don't like do that, I guess, to a classic. I don't know. I really didn't like it. Yeah. I mean, all the Disney remakes are cashing in on nostalgia and stuff like that. But I did like Aladdin, for instance. Didn't think I'd like it at all. I actually really did like Aladdin. And I think I liked it because it took risks and actually like did different things than the original. A lot of the original songs were in it and a lot of the original stuff was in it. Don't get me wrong. They did kind of pull at your heartstrings with certain things. But they also threw a lot more new stuff in that wasn't in the original. I think that was in the original book or something like that. All I know is it shocked me, and it actually was a good movie. I think going in with no expectations also helped that movie, because I went into that movie thinking it was going to be an utter disaster. And it was actually pretty enjoyable. I definitely liked it better than The Lion King, which hurts me to say because I was really anticipating The Lion King. As soon as they said Lion King remake was coming out, I was all about it. One of my favorites of all time. But having seen the trailers of both, someone pointed this out to me. They're like, notice in all the Lion King trailers, they never show the animals talk. I don't know if that's true, but that's what they told me. And they always do voiceovers and played the music. They were like, yeah, they did that because as soon as you see them talk in the movie, they have no emotion. And it took me right out of the movie. Like right from the beginning of the movie, I just was taken out of it. And they're literally just like, hey, like no emotion. And like, I don't know. It just took me out of it. It would in a world of reboots, it's not surprising. Guaranteed money speaking, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I am super psyched for Jay and Silent Bob. I do see Seedless. I see your question about Mulan. I can't compare it because I've never seen Mulan. The only Disney movies animated I can think of that I haven't seen are Mulan and Moana. I've never seen those two. Everything else from Frozen down, Incredibles 2, I've seen them all. I don't know how, because The Last Samurai is one of my favorite movies of all time. And based on the trailer of the live action I saw, it looks like a samurai type movie. I love the whole aspect, culture, and everything of the samurai. Last Samurai, Tom Cruise, one of my favorite movies. I've just never got around to it. It had nothing against it. It just must have came out at a time in my life where I had like a serious girlfriend or something. And it was like one of those things where I just like forgot about movies. But I never watched Mulan. It's literally, besides Moana, one of the only ones I could think of that I've not seen. But I said to somebody, now that I could do like live reactions and stuff again, maybe next week or the week after, sometime before Mulan actually comes out, the remake, the live action, I'm thinking of doing a live watch along of the animated Mulan, because a lot of people actually started asking me about it and talking about it. And I wouldn't mind doing it. I've done it with other things and I haven't seen it. So maybe sometime between now and the release of the live action Mulan, I'm going to do like a live watch along. So like I'll do like the whole 3-2-1 thing. If you guys have seen my watch alongs, I did a whole watch along for Umbrella Academy. That was before I knew how to get around Netflix's algorithms of editing. Now I have understand it all. I've learned it all. I mean, I've been doing this now for like 5 months. 4 months, 5 months. So now I've learned a lot. So back when Umbrella Academy came out, I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong to get the edit right. Now I figured out all the tricks of the trade, hence why I got Stranger Things going. If you guys watched my first Stranger Things, I also had to cut out the music and I would mute it because I didn't want to get copyright. I've then figured out how to get around that sense. So now I even have like the original music and everything in, and the episodes go out pretty flawlessly. It just takes me a lot longer to edit them. The system I use now, it just takes like an extra 30 minutes to an hour, but then I don't have to worry about re-edits, which took up hours of my day. So it's basically like I'm taking the longer way around, but it's saving me a ton of time in the long run. It's not getting videos pulled anymore. I'm having an easier time with it. So if you've seen my watch alongs, though, I do the whole 3-2-1 countdown, and then I watch the show, and you guys could sync up and watch with me. And I usually watch it over here is where my big screen is. These are all my monitors over here. But over here, I've got a 75-inch. Over here, I got a 75-inch 4K television. So if I watch it, I usually like kick back like this, and I watch and I talk. And if you guys have seen them, I did it with The Dirt, the Motley Crue movie, the whole season of Umbrella Academy. I'm pretty sure a couple other things too. But like I said, this happened way before when I didn't quite know how to edit yet. Now that I know how to edit and everything, I don't have to do those, but I could do them for fun. So you guys let me know if you want me to do something like that, but I'm sure people would enjoy that. But yeah, Lion King, Jessie loved it. My sister, I went with my sister. She loved it. Everyone else hated it. I think we went with like 12 people. and my sister and maybe one other person liked it. All the rest of us hated it. And we had age groups from as young as 16 all the way up to, I would say, like 50, 55. So we had like, in my mid 30s. So we had like every generation. We had like teenagers, middle-aged people, and like people 50, 55, maybe even 60 years old. I'm not sure how old they are, but they're definitely at least 20 years older than me, put it that way. So everyone except, and the one that liked it was in their 50s, and my sister is in her 20s. So I don't know. It's a toss up in my opinion. I guess it's like it has no rhyme or reason to it. But what was else? What was I going to talk about, Ray? Oh, Jay and Silent Bob. Jay and Silent Bob looks so good. Brody, I've watched so many of the Silent Bob movies, and they all kind of mesh together. So whenever I see Brody and Banky, I always like get them mixed up. They're very similar. Like all of Jason Lee's characters have the same kind of attitude and like personality. So when I'm actually like watching them on screen, I'm like trying to pull out like, all right, that's Ben Affleck from this movie, and that's Jason Lee from this movie. And and in Silent Bob and Jay Strikes Back, they did combine universes. So there was a Brody and a Banky. So it's like very hard to remember. Like I said in my trailer reaction, Holden is from Chasing Amy, but the reference in the new reboot movie is Holden from Chasing Amy in Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. So that shit gets very confusing. What is your opinion of the black actress playing? We literally had this discussion. It's been the same universe. Oh yeah, it's always, I did know it's always been the same universe, right? We'll go back to Jay and Silent Bob, but we literally had this conversation in the car on the way to Lion King, as far as Seedless Watermelon is saying, what do I think of Ariel being played by a black actress? I don't care about it being a black actress. It's just in my mind, any other Disney princess would have worked better. Ariel, in my opinion, is one of the most iconic looks for a Disney princess because of the red hair. I understand there are so many review and reactors and stuff, like people going crazy on people that are against it. I'm only against it because I think it was the worst choice of any other Disney princess. In my mind, every other Disney princess has like, you wouldn't just immediately look at and go, that is Sleeping Beauty or that is Cinderella. You might have to go like, is that Sleeping Beauty? Because they have similar looks. Ariel is like one of the few Disney princesses that like from 10 miles away, you see that orange hair and you think the Little Mermaid. That is the only reason I have a problem with it. I just think they picked a weird Disney princess for it. But had they done it with anybody else, I wouldn't have really cared. It wouldn't have probably made a difference. So that is why I care. Am I against it? Yes, I'm against it because of it being the Little Mermaid. I literally went down the roster and I honestly don't see it being a problem with any other character except Ariel. Like Belle from Beauty and the Beast, she could go either way. Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, like, and I get it. It's like, I just don't understand why that was their choice. And then I just saw they came out with Javier Bardem is going to be her father. So now it's like, I guess maybe the mother is black, or is it like, did they adopt the Little Mermaid? Like, I'm like totally confused now, because now Javier Bardem is clearly like Hispanic or something. Put it this way, he's not black. So now it's like a Hispanic father with a black daughter. They didn't cast the mother yet, so I'm assuming the mother's going to be black, but I don't know. It's just I don't know. The whole thing is just weird. And it's only weird to me that they chose it to be the Little Mermaid. Any other movie to me would have made sense. I saw that yesterday that Javier Bardem is King Triton, Ariel's father, King Triton. They literally just cast him, I think, yesterday morning. I thought someone was joking because I know he's Spanish, and I assumed people were pitching, well, now that it's a Black Little Mermaid, who will be the father? And I saw a lot of people pitching Terry Crews because Terry Crews is jacked up and Triton is like a jack dude. I thought that would have been pretty cool. Now that they already cast the Little Mermaid as a black actress, I was like, I would think that would be great if Terry Crews. It would make me want to see the movie more. That's for sure. A jacked up like Terry Crews King Triton, I think that'd be awesome. Yeah, Idris Elba. Yeah, like I love Idris Elba too. But Terry Crews, I think, would bring that like comedic element to it. Where like Idris Elba would play like a really serious King Triton. But like Terry Crews would be like probably like awesome as King Triton. But yeah, like, see, like, ones that kind of pissed me off too, because then I'm like, all right, you cast a Black Little Mermaid. Fine, it is what it is. I don't think it was the right choice, but I'll still go see it. Now I'm like going like, all right, so who are they going to get the father to be? Terry Crews. I'm starting to think all these people, and now it's like Javier Bardem, and I'm like, I never saw that coming. Like, if you told me Javier Bardem was going to be like maybe before they cast the Black Little Mermaid, but like I don't know. The casting choices are kind of odd. But I mean, like, I don't know. I had very low hopes of Aladdin, and I was totally freaking out about every trailer the Aladdin put out. And it ended up being probably I'm not lying. I think Aladdin is my favorite live action of all the Disneys. If I like it better than Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, Jungle Book is kind of right there with it. But I would say like Aladdin, but it could just be that I went in with no expectations. So it so overly impressed me that I just like hold it in higher esteem. But I think Aladdin was one of the better live action ones. I even liked Aladdin better than the Mary Poppins Returns. I wasn't a huge fan of Mary Poppins Returns. And Mary Poppins, the original, is probably one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. So definitely was not impressed with that. I went with my whole family, took my parents, my sister came when we saw Mary Poppins Returns, and all of us were kind of just like it gave you some nostalgic feels, but wasn't what I was hoping for. But I mean, it is hard to compete with the original. That's what a lot of people were saying, right? They were saying, why not just come up with new stories? And honestly, above all else, I agree. That is the number one thing. Why keep making live actions? Why keep like going back? Like The Lion King embarrassingly was a frame by frame. Like if you took the animated, it was frame by frame. Some people were even saying that they heard like the original song in with the new people singing. People were accusing the movie of literally using the same orchestral like pieces and just infusing in like the new actors and actresses' voices. I don't know. Maybe it's possible, I guess. I don't know. But it was literally a frame by frame, except certain things they cut out and certain things they just like dragged out, because the original I think was an hour and 25 minutes, hour 20 minutes, something like that. This was almost 2 hours. So it was like beat for beat, and then like at certain down points when you wouldn't even want extra footage or anything, it would just drag it out. I was literally falling asleep in the theater. And like, I mean, granted, when they would start singing the songs, like, you get nostalgic, and it wasn't the worst movie I ever saw, but it was definitely I was just not impressed. It being one of my favorite Disney movies, I did not want to see a bad version. What the heck was the other thing I was gonna say? So Jay and Silent Bob, a million cameos in that movie. I didn't realize till I rewatched some of the other reactors that they literally said they're going to stop the reboot of the Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. Because in my reaction, I was saying I wonder if they're going to have Mark Hamill as the cock knocker. There's a very good chance now they have Mark Hamill back as like the cock knocker part 2. Maybe he'll be a force ghost cock knocker, but I'm willing to bet there's going to be a lot of cameos of people we don't expect like that. Bluntman and Chronic. Yeah, they had Jason Biggs and James Vanderbeek were there on a Comic-Con panel for being Bluntman and Chronic in the movie in Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. There's so many like confusing references. I like that Shannon Elizabeth is back, and Jay Muse's daughter is Silent Bob's daughter in real life. She's like, I enjoy her and everything she does. I feel like she's only been in Silent Bob and Kevin Smith's movies, but I saw like Yoga Hosers was the most bizarre, probably horrible movie I've seen. It's not the most horrible, but it is pretty bad and it is ridiculous. It wasn't because of her, it was just the movie, but she was in other things too, and she's like not bad. But I feel like she's only been in Kevin Smith's movies. Yeah, it was, yeah, I did like, that's the thing. It's like one of those, like, if you just get like fucked up with friends and like go get drunk or something, it's not a bad movie. It just makes very little sense. And Kevin Smith plays a little Vienna sausage or something. I think it's a Vienna sausage. Kevin Smith plays one. It's definitely out there. Horrible. Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about, like I said earlier, if you weren't in the room before, I have felt like crap all day. That is why I am looking like I am retarded. Like I got the eyes going down, but whatchamacallit, saw that Creep Show is making a television show on Shudder. I don't know if any of you have ever seen Creep Show. Ray, the Bratz. Oh, the Bratzy. Yeah, he was at Bratwurst. That was a Nazi. He was the Bratzy. But Ray, did you see Creep Show? I haven't seen the trailer yet. I haven't watched the trailer of that, the trailer for Walking Dead, or the trailer for The Witcher. I reacted to everything else. I missed out on those. But the Creep Show, apparently the Shudder network, I guess it's like a streaming network. I never really subscribed to it or anything. I've heard of it. I've seen it. I'm pretty sure it's like a Netflix, but for all horror. And they have a lot of original content, indie film, stuff like that. They are coming out with their own original series based off of, I think it said George Romero and Stephen King and Nicotero that does Walking Dead. Yeah, my cousin sent me a link, Ray, earlier. Chris, I think you saw it too. Chris sent a thing about the Witcher trailer being like amazingly epic. He said it looks like it could be like something that'll scratch that Game of Thrones itch. I find that very impressive. If it gives you a Game of Thrones feel, that I would not mind seeing. I've never played the Witcher games or anything, so I'm not familiar. I stopped playing video games years ago. It's not that I dislike playing games. I just get addicted to them too much. And I was literally gaining 500 pounds and playing video games all day, never seeing the light of day. So I have a very addictive personality. So I have to stay away from things like Warcraft and gaming. But a lot of my family and friends play The Witcher, and I hear it is amazing. I hear the trailer gives a Game of Thrones vibe, so I'm definitely going to check that out later. I was almost thinking of like reacting to stuff now, but then I can't edit it up and throw it up on the channel, and it looks kind of weird like this because I don't have like my typical template. I forget how wide this is when I do it live. I haven't done live in so long. This thing looks so wide angle. Like I feel like I could like fly away. I just checked my Amazon account. Apparently, I have Shudder on our subscription channel. There you go, Steph. I'm wondering, do you think Shudder comes with Amazon? Because I know sometimes they do package deals or they do like bonuses like, oh, for 3 months you get Shudder. Maybe you got Shudder for free by having Amazon. Because someone told me that you get Hulu. Someone the other day was telling me about a streaming service where you get Hulu and 2 other things with it. It was like some sort of sports thing. And they were like, I didn't even realize I get Hulu for free now. And I was like, so certain ones are packaging them together, I guess. You should watch The Corner. It's a mini, basically the same as The Wire, but just the street stuff. A lot more emotional, though. It's creative. Yeah, does that say Perry? I do not have my contacts in or my glasses. I think it says Perry Kellis. A lot of people have suggested The Corner. I think they said it's only 6-part miniseries. If enough people want me to, maybe right after The Wire ends, I could do that in like 2 or 3 weeks if it's only 6 parts. I'll just do 2 a week or something like that. If enough people recommend it, but I did have a lot of people tell me about it, but I'm wondering if people are telling me about it because it's like associated with the Wire guy, or if it really is as good. Perry, would you say it's as good as the Wire, or it's just like in the same vein? So it's like whatever. Because if it's like on the same, if it's on par with the Wire, then I'll definitely give it a shot. But I don't want to like watch it when I have so much other stuff to watch. If it's just like, oh, it's the same guy or whatever. But I'm assuming it's good if everyone keeps saying it. All right. Well, then I probably, then what I'll probably do is, because I know I'm going to be like somewhat sympathetic when the Wire ends, I'm going to be sad. So maybe I'll take like a break for a couple weeks, and then to like get back in the Wire festivities, I'll watch The Corner. Someone told me another one too. Something else David Simon did. The Deuce. And I think there was another one too. I think people were saying I should watch The Deuce and something else. The Corner will only make you even more sad. It's a tough watch. And now, Perry, is The Corner, you're saying basically it's more streets, but is it like, it's not like a documentary, is it? It's like, it's filmed like The Wire, I'm assuming, or is it a documentary? Like one of those like intervention like type shows. Like I used to watch Intervention a lot. Don't ask me why. I guess I was in a dark moment of my life. I would binge watch, and maybe I wanted to feel better about myself, and I would just watch Intervention a lot. Like they would have like marathons on A&E at night. This had to be years ago, but they would have marathons at night, and I would come home from the bar. I was quite a drinker, and I would literally just like watch hours of Intervention. So I don't know, but I'm wondering if The Corner is kind of like that. It's filmed. Oh, it's filmed. It's based on a true story of a family in Baltimore. All right. Oh, so it's based on truth, though. Okay, that's cool. A lot of people are telling me a lot of the things happening in The Wire are based on truth, and I had no idea. Like the whole Amsterdam thing, I cannot believe that Amsterdam is based off a real, like in real life. How far did that go? How far did Amsterdam go in real life? Those of you in here that don't know what Amsterdam is, in the show The Wire, one of the high up commissioner guys, I think he's Colvin. What is Colvin at that point? I think he's commissioner, or Burrell's commissioner. So he's like captain or whatever Colvin is at that point. I think he's captain. He legalizes drugs, so to speak. There is so much crime all over Baltimore that he literally drives around, finds 3 locations that are all like on the outskirts, and tells all the junkies, drug dealers, and prostitutes and everybody bad to go to these 3 locations. And if you go there, you will be like granted immunity. You can like, and if you're traveling to those areas with drugs and caught transporting, and you say, hey, no, I'm going to Amsterdam, I have amnesty, they'll let you go because you are keeping the drugs off the main neighborhoods. And it actually works. I mean, granted, it will probably work because you're allowing people to get away with murder as long as they like stay to their territory. So it makes sense. But I could not believe that that was actually based on something that really happened. The Wire. The Deuce. Oh, Treem. That's what it was. People kept talking about Treem. That is by David Simon, relating to similar events. Is that what I'm thinking of? It's definitely Treem that I'm thinking of. Maybe it's New Orleans. Maybe Treem was recommended to me because my channel started because I'm a New Orleans Saints fan. I think people were saying I would dig Treem because it's kind of like The Wire, but New Orleans. That's kind of starting to ring a bell. You ever watch Snowfall? I don't even think I've heard of Snowfall. Snowfall. What is Snowfall on? I vaguely feel like I seen like cover art for it, but I don't recall it. I've put it this way. I've definitely not seen it. I don't even know if I've heard of Snowfall. Dream is about New Orleans, people dealing with the aftermath of her. Okay. Yeah, I started ringing a bell, and it's by David Simon, Steph, right? Is that why it was connected to The Wire then? Or is it like similarly filmed? Like, is it just like got the feels like The Wire? Because I remember it came up a lot in Wire discussions. So it's got to have something to do with The Wire. I think it's David Simon. But definitely digging The Wire. At this point, I have watched a lot of television. At this point, I would definitely say it's in my top 10 of all time. Yeah, it's David Simon. Yeah, I would like, where do you guys put The Wire? Those of you in this room that have seen The Wire, where does it fall on your list? I already know Seedless has 1 and 2 booked, but I don't even know if Seedless watches The Wire. I'm assuming Bunk and Lester. Bunk and Lester are both in Treem. Really? Bunk and Lester. Interesting. I was reading the comment below with that comment, Steph, and I thought it said Herc, and I'm like, well, now I don't want to watch it. Herc disgusts me. I feel bad for the actor because I feel like he will always be like hated by me. Unless Herc makes a rapid recovery in season 5. People have done it. You guys, if you've watched all my Wire reactions, you guys saw how much I hated D'Angelo, how much I hated Carver in the first season, how much I hated Przybylski. Przybylski, I despised in season 1. And now he's like a lovable, good guy that's like, I'm going to fight the system for the kids. Like, he's a great dude. Carver, too. Carver went from probably my second most hated in season 1 to almost adopting Randy at the end. So unless Herc pulls a complete 180, then his actor, I apologize, but the actor that plays him, I'm going to hate him forever. I recently saw something that the actor was in, and the first thing I thought, I was like, oh, look, there's that piece of shit. It's like, I can't help it. The only thing I know him as is Herc. So like now I'm like mad at him. That's the thing. Herc had 4 seasons where he was always a shitty person. Carver, I don't know why, but in the first, maybe it was because Walking Dead, I despise Father Gabriel. And I mean, he's gotten better towards the end, and now you kind of feel for him. But I despise Father Gabriel, and I saw Walking Dead much, much before The Wire. So maybe that's like the Herc syndrome. I hated the actor because of Father Gabriel. So I basically went into The Wire hating Carver to begin with. Now, next show I watch with Herc, I'm going to hate Herc. What else is Herc in, guys? You got to know something. I definitely saw Herc in something recently, and I remember specifically thinking like, oh, great, it's that asshole. And I've seen Bubbles. Bubbles has been popping up in so much stuff. Like I said in one of my other reactions that Bubbles popped up in it was like one of those About a Boy or something that just came out like last year. Bubbles was like a recovering addict in that or something like that, or he was a teacher or something. I don't know. But now that I've watched The Wire, a lot of those faces are popping up. Did you expect Carver and Herc's path to diverge so heavily? Yeah, no, I did not. And honestly, if I had to guess, based on the fact, like I just said, that I already hated Carver going in, I would have thought him and Carver would have like been like a band of brothers to the end and been like super dirty by now. Because we saw in season 2, they were stealing money, and Daniels caught Carver on at least 2 occasions that I can remember where Carver was like caught by Daniels doing dirty shit, and Daniels kept giving him a second chances. So I guess Carver probably has Daniels to thank, because had Daniels not given Carver those second chances, Carver probably would have hated everybody just by default. Like, oh, no one gave me a chance, and like now I hate the world kind of thing. Whereas Daniels was good enough to give him multiple opportunities. He did it with Herc too. Daniels is a good man. I don't know if it's because he feels guilty because of past actions that he's done. I don't know if we still know that. Do I still not know what Burrell has on Daniels? I feel like that still hasn't come out in like full detail. Like they keep bringing it up about Daniels, Burrell having info on Daniels, but I'm not sure if I know that. Sorry if I'm ranting. I'm just like, I don't want to forget things. So I'm trying to like unravel everything in my head while reading comments. I remember Herc was in Oz. Really? Oz was the first show I ever watched on HBO. I literally would watch it live every week. I don't think I was any older than like 12 years old, maybe. Maybe I was older than that. I remember being young and feeling like I should not be watching this at this age. But I think it was one of those things where my parents didn't realize what it was because of the name. Like, it's called Oz. I really believe that my parents thought that it was like something related to the Wizard of Oz or something, because I feel like I was definitely too young to be watching the Oz when it aired. What do we got here? S dot. S dot, it is good to see you in the chat. I don't think I've ever seen you on comments before. Did you just find me or have you been watching reactions and stuff? Because I usually recognize the names that write a lot. Like Steph, I've been seeing Steph since back in my days of, I think, 50 subscribers. But we have Russell Goodacre. I like that name. Is that from something? Russell Goodacre. Is that your real name or is that from something? I feel like that's from something. The Wire and Sopranos are 1 and 2 in that order. Sopranos is definitely in my top 10, maybe my top 5. The Wire, I'm going to have to wait to see how the season closes out. I'm one of those people that don't like jumping the gun on something. And a lot of people tell me season 5 slows down. Everyone fights over whether season 3 or 4 is better. I thought season 4 was the best, and I actually thought season 2 was better than 3, even though I love season 3, and season 1 was good too. I just really dug the dock worker thing, and I've told people before it's because I did stuff like that growing up, so I could relate to the bar atmosphere. I grew up around those working class kind of guys that literally would go to the bar after work every day, pounding beers. I became one of those guys, so it's very easy to relate to that. Therefore, I really liked season 2, but hands down, season 4 is the best in my opinion. The Witcher trailer was so awesome. You just saw it, Seedless? It was good? Think The Sopranos is better, just in my opinion. So Seedless, I guess you just ran and watched it. I got to check it out. I hear it is. Was it very Game of Thronesy, Seedless? That is the majority of the opinions I've seen. Very violent Game of Thronesy. They said it was. It seemed like it was being somewhat honoring the game, which I wouldn't know because I don't watch the game or play the game. It's my real name. Well, then you have an amazing name, Russell Goodacre. That is like one of those names. One of my friends has, and his last name is Oberlander. And I think that is like an epic name, like Highlander, like Oberlander. I don't know. Sorry if I put you on shout out, my friend. R.I.P. Frank Sabatka. Frank, I hate that Frank died off camera. I loved Frank's character, and you saw it like it didn't surprise me that he died. You knew it was coming because he basically was paying for all the mistakes of his kids or kid, but I just hate that he died off camera. The way it happened, I'm trying to think back. The Wire has definitely probably pulled out some of the greatest reactions of me. The Umbrella Academy had a couple good ones. Walking Dead, definitely. But I would say The Wire, I guess because it's just longer than the others. I'm in season 5 already. I haven't reacted to another show as long as that. But it definitely pulls the greater emotions. But I would say Frank Sabatka dying might have been one of the best reactions just because I kind of knew it was going to happen. Not that I was spoiled, but I just kind of saw it coming. But then I was like, maybe it didn't. But the way they like unravel it in the beginning of that episode, and then you have to sit through an entire episode having just seen that. Like, I hated it at first, but then I was like, maybe it was better that it was like that. Like, usually people kill off main characters at the end. So like, it's like, boom, like a big impact. And then you're like stuck with that. They like dragged it out for the first like 10 minutes of that episode. And then you got to sit with that for the whole episode, and I was just angry and mad, and they didn't show it. It was an off-camera death. So like, I mean, I guess they didn't have to show it, but I would have liked to see Frank like fight back. I granted, I don't expect him to win. He was like probably 3 or 4 against 1, and they have weapons, and that's what they do for a living. So I can't expect him to win, but I would have at least liked to see how good of a fight he put up. Like maybe he knocked a few out, maybe he disarmed the guy and stabbed one of them or something. But then we would have noticed that later when they were like at the thing. But that Wallace's death, Bodhi. I don't know. I guess because I saw that coming too. All the foreshadowing of Bodhi, I was just like, this is happening. Like, it's just a matter of time at this point. I didn't think it would happen as quickly, but then again, it was the finale. So what are they going to do? They're not going to. I'm assuming there's going to be a time jump from season 4 to 5. So they can't let the Bodhi thing just linger, because if they do like a year or two leap, it's going to be a little ridiculous that like, yeah, Bodhi's been like narking and Chris and Snoop just went to jail. They got to make it quick. So it all made sense. The writing's great. The Wire season 5 is always ranked as the lowest, but to me, it is so good. It's always ranked the lowest. Where would you put it, Seedless, in your opinion? Would you say it probably is the worst? Because honestly, there hasn't been a bad season yet. And the fact that most people consider season 2 the worst, like I've seen season 2 and season 5 on the bottoms of everyone's list. Season 2 is almost my favorite season. So if a lot of people consider season 2 the worst, that is high hopes for season 5, in my opinion, because I think season 2 is one of the better seasons. So maybe I'll like season 5. I have been told, this isn't a spoiler, it didn't spoil anything specific, but I have been told that season 5 does touch on a lot of people we haven't seen in a while that were in previous seasons, stuff like that. I don't know who, I don't know when, I don't know why. All I know is that people said you do see certain people again that you haven't seen in a while. So I'm wondering if we're going to see Ziggy. Don't tell me, guys, if we are. But I'm thinking we're going to see Ziggy. I'm thinking we might go back and see like, obviously we're going to see Marlo and Ava. I'm assuming the season's going to deal heavily with Avon getting out of jail, him like reforming an army and going head to head with Marlo. Maybe like going around the back and like getting like Prop Joe and Slim and all them back on his side. I'm hoping that's what happens. I'm hoping Avon gets out of prison and Avon is like goes behind Marlo's back and is like, guys, I got all these properties and we could like go into like a big group of dudes, but Marlo's got to go because no one likes the way Marlo's dealing. That's why Bodhi freaked out. That's why like everyone is like head to head. He sided with Omar over Marlo because of like no one really likes Marlo. They're just scared of him. So my thoughts are, I mean, I could be totally wrong. Avon might never get out of prison. Watch Avon never gets out. I'd be shocked if Avon didn't get out of prison. But like, I mean, they could go another angle. They could focus the entire, there's only 10 episodes. They could focus the entire season on Marlo and like pretend like Avon never existed. But at the end of the finale of season 4, we did see Lester gets control of major crimes and he's opening up Barksdale files. So the writing is kind of on the wall. I would be utterly shocked if Avon didn't like come into play. But that's my guess. My guess is Avon is going to come out and come with guns blazing, know a lot of people, and everyone's going to be like, Avon, shit ran smooth when you were around. Like maybe some people didn't like Avon. Maybe he's dirty or like whatever, but he's a drug dealer. What do you expect? Things ran smooth and everyone respected him. Marlo doesn't have respect. Everyone, like we've seen Snoop and Chris give him sideways looks. Maybe not Snoop. Snoop looks like a little crazy too, even though I love Snoop. Snoop is one of my favorite characters, but Snoop always seems to defend it like it's cool. And like, she seems like she grew up tough and like killing ain't a thing. But Chris has given him sideways looks a bunch. You know, Slim thinks what he's doing is wrong. When they put little Kevin in the trunk and stuff like that, Slim was like this shit ain't right. They're just like killing everybody. Bodhi freaked out and died for it. So I have a feeling that Avon's going to come out, going to be a bit of a time jump. And then everyone's going to get around on Avon's side and they're going to go after Marlo. And in the midst of all this, we're going to have our happy crew of cop buddies back together and go after all of them. So not sure how it'll end. I'm still curious. 2 things. These are my theories that I've been spewing out for at least a season or 2. Well, this one is just a season because they were introduced at the first episode, but Michael and Bug, I cannot help but think they have built up this relationship with Bug and Michael like really, really caring for him. I can't help but think that Michael's life of crime is going to get Bug killed. That has been a theory since like the minute they started showing the love that Michael has for Bug. I'm like, there is no reason to focus that much love for a child unless they just want to show brotherly love. Maybe their thing is like, hey, we want to show like that brothers can like be there for each other even in the toughest of times. I could buy that, but I don't think that's the case. There is so much focus put on him being there for Bug. Now he took Bug away. He literally gave up his life and dreams to be a criminal to save Bug by killing Bug's father. Well, he didn't kill him. The Snoop and Chris did. Then he takes Bug away from the mother and lives the life of crime so that he can make money to take care of him. All of his life choices have gone where they've gone because of Bug. I can't help but think Bug is going to die. Well, no one is spoiled yet. No one's spoiled for me, por favor. I'm just ranting because I'm thinking that's where it's going to go. But that, and I think McNulty's going to crumble. I think McNulty is either going to cheat on Beetee with his ex-wife or get so tied up into the work atmosphere with Bunk and all the other drunks that he's going to become a drunk again, probably cheat on Beetee with his ex-wife because of that. And then Beetee and him will be separated and he'll go back to the McNulty of old. I hope not, but I hope that doesn't happen. I hope McNulty stays good. I hope Bubbles gets better, but we're going to stop talking about that because Joey Dangerously might be right. People might start accidentally saying things. So we're still talking about The Wire, but we're talking about season 4. I'd say season 5 is the weakest, but it's still a great season. Poot is the only one out of the season 1 couch crew left. And he stood by Bodhi as long as he could. That final look between them was great. Yeah, no, I read that extra slow because for a second I was like, is that a spoiler? Now I'm all paranoid. But S. said the look between Poot and Bodhi. Yeah, like that was a great way to end it. Like it was basically goodbye. Like you ain't coming out of this alive. When Poot ran away, I said this in my reaction. I thought Poot was going to get hit. I thought this is how it was going to go down. Poot and him looked like, yeah, this is it. Bodhi's dead. Switcheroo. Poot runs by. They think Poot is Bodhi. Snoop or whoever that dude, not Snoop, the dude shoots Poot and they all book thinking they killed Bodhi and Bodhi really lived. And now Bodhi's got to live with the guilt of having basically killed Poot. Not that he killed him, but it was because of him that Poot was dead. I thought that was what was going to happen. I thought Poot was going to die. They were going to think it was Bodhi. And now Bodhi was like, I ain't ratting now because they tried to kill me and they killed my best friend. But it was a great scene. Great look. I just wish that Bodhi duck and covered. Duck and cover. You're probably still not going to win. You're probably going to die. But he is on a 4-way corner on the street, just boom, boom, boom by himself. Someone's going to get you. You have 4 dudes on every angle. Like at least duck and cover and try. Like maybe if Poot and them didn't see him acting like a lunatic, like Poot was like, dude, get down, like go behind, like get out of here. And Bodhi's like, no, they're not taking my corner. Maybe if the other guy saw Bodhi was like, dude, duck and cover, and like they kind of worked together, maybe they could have got the best of him. You never know. But I still love the scene, and the way he went down was definitely like a champ. Bodhi, one of my favorites in the entire series. Maybe he has a fighting chance for number 1. I'm going to do that when all is said and done because I want to see the full arc of all these characters. Because right now, Bubbles is in a really bad place. Herc is the worst guy I've ever seen. And that could all change. So I don't want to like keep doing top 10s. My favorite characters, not in any order, are Bubbles, Bodhi, who is now dead. So I won't even count him because Wallace was one of my favorite and he died. But of alive characters, Bubbles by far, McNulty, I gotta love. And I love that he has made a rapid turnaround. Then we have Daniels, definitely. Lester, 100%. If I had to give a 5th guy, I mean, Bunk, I do love the whole cop crew. I'm trying to think of the criminals. Oh, I got to put 5 as Snoop. Snoop is definitely, of the criminals, Snoop is by far my favorite. I love Prop Joe, and Chris is growing on me. I started liking Chris once I saw he like made a connection with Michael. Clearly, Chris had something bad happen to him. That's why he beat Bug's father so badly. So I don't know what it is. Something about that whole scene made me like kind of feel for Chris. Like, I get it. Like he was Michael probably. He like made choices because he had a shitty father or whatever and probably got molested. So I kind of feel for Chris too. Marlo, I don't like. I like the character, but Marlo is just a scumbag. Like Bodhi was saying, he just like, I get it. It's the Godfather mentality. It's like, could he hurt me? Yes. Well, then he dies. Will he hurt me? I don't know. There's probably a 99.9% chance he won't. But that 0.1% chance means he's got to die because I don't want to keep looking over my shoulder. I get the mentality. It's very Godfather-esque, but it's like, I don't like people like that. It's a great character, but I hate that person. Omar. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, Steph. I forgot Omar. How do I always forget Omar? And Slim Charles is definitely my favorite. Of Avon's whole crew, it was Slim and Bodhi. Omar is definitely a favorite. Chris and Snoop from Marlo's crew are my favorite. And Prop Joe is always great. When they had that scene with Prop Joe doing the impressions on the phone when he was trying to find out the info about Herc, when they were doing, he was like, just like immediately, like on the jump, like, oh, da, 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 da. And then another person picks up a new accent. Another person picks up new accent. Very impressive by that actor. I don't really remember that dude from anything else. Has that actor been in anything else major? I feel like I might have seen him in little things here and there, but I cannot recall a single thing that dude has been in. And he is a hilarious actor and one of my favorite characters. Bodhi and Poot were both emotional over killing Wallace. It was a little difficult for me to get over, though. But yeah, no, the Wallace scene, definitely in my top 5 saddest scenes of this 4 seasons going in. 1 left. Wallace dying, D'Angelo dying, Bodhi dying. Basically, all the death scenes are the saddest. I mean, obviously, they're going to be the saddest. You're losing someone you care about. And the D'Angelo one did bother me a lot because that was when I started realizing D'Angelo was a good dude and was lying to like basically get himself a reputation. So D'Angelo dying was definitely a sad scene. And the fact that it went down like it did, where people knew about it, and then Stringer was involved in the whole thing and did it behind Avon's back, which basically put a wrench in the whole mix with Avon and Stringer. Then Stringer dying. I didn't get sad about Stringer dying, but Frank Sabaka dying was definitely in the top 5. Stringer dying didn't make me sad. It made me sad only because I liked Stringer's character at that point. I hated it, but I loved it, if you get what I'm saying. I despised him, but the character was great. Like, you never know what to expect. He would do whatever it took. And he was very selfish, but like smart, going to school, like educating himself. So he was street smart and book smart. And I only didn't like him dying because I kind of wanted to see his progression, but it had to happen. Oh, Prop Joe, the actor, died in 2013. That's a shame. When did the show end? When did The Wire end? 2000, right around 2013? Didn't it end around then? That would probably explain why I didn't see him. Because I think it started in like 2005. Oh, so then it would die. It would have, I think it ended around 2010, 2013, somewhere in that area. The guy who played Prop Joe died a few years ago of a heart attack. It ended 2008. Oh, damn, that's an old show. That came back out when I was almost in high school. Show ended in 2008, I think, started in my God, I graduated high school in 99. So I felt like it came out way after that. Were they what shows intersected with The Wire? I think Sopranos was on around then. Because like I said, I would watch it with my family. So Sopranos had to be around that time because I was probably in high school. I know Oz was the first one. A lot of people tell me that I should react to Dream On. People tell me I would love this show called Dream On. HBO show came out around when Oz did. I remember seeing that, but that was one my parents wouldn't probably let me watch, even though I was probably old enough to at that point, because it was very sexual in nature. And it was supposedly about a guy who put himself into like, in his mind, put himself into like the roles of movies or actors or something. The Wire had, I don't know, but Dream On, people said, is one of the first original HBO shows that was like phenomenal around the same time as the Oz. Sopranos and Oz were on. Okay. So Sopranos is real old. I guess Sopranos was like maybe started in the 90s. I can't believe that, how old some things are. Lost was still on. Yeah, Lost started in 2000. No, that's right. Lost was 2003 to 2008 or 2009, something like that. The Wire had times where there were 2 years between seasons. Oh, okay. See, Lost, I don't think ever did that. Lost, if anything, chopped up seasons because of the writer's strike. Season 4, I remember, here's a perfect example of watching a show 1,000 times and finding out something new. I watched Hogwarts Reacts to season 3 of Lost. Wait, was it Hogwarts Reacts? Who the heck was I watching? Maybe it was Fear of Reactions, because Hogwarts not at that part. Whatever. I was watching the episode of season 4. Oh, it was The Normies. I was watching the episode of season 4 where, spoiler alert for Lost people, but a character's daughter dies. I heard that originally that wasn't supposed to happen. That at the mid-season break, like there was like a episode 8 was basically the mid-season break. Why was there a mid-season break? Because the writer's strike happened. After the writer's strike ended, they couldn't do a 23 episode season. They could only do 17 episodes, I think, with season 3 or 4. I think season 4 was 17 episodes. Supposed to be 23 episodes. Because it got shortened because of the writer's strike, they made Ben's daughter die to rapid fire the situation, like the incident. So Ben's daughter got murdered so that they could basically rapid fire to the end and cut out like 6 episodes of stuff, which I thought some people were saying the writer's strike ruined season 4. I never knew that was a thing until I watched The Normies. And honestly, I think that whole situation happening was amazing for the show, because I didn't know that it was not supposed to happen. And I thought it was like, it took you by so surprise, so unexpected. It basically, in my mind, made it better, but I don't know. But that is a perfect example of something. I've watched that episode at least 10 times, because I've watched the series through from beginning to end 7 or 8 times. But major episodes where death scenes, like character death, stuff like that, I probably watched dozens of times. I like analyze them and stuff, but I've never really watched reactors react to Lost. So it's actually really cool to watch reactors react to shows that you've already seen, because they will tell you things you didn't even notice. Like the guy, the reason the Normies knew that is because the guy sitting on the couch with them has seen it many times through. The 2 people with him have never seen it before. So he basically knows what's coming. I love watching them because it's another aspect of a reaction. You're seeing 2 new people react, and someone that is probably as knowledgeable, if not more knowledgeable than myself. And he even taught me something I didn't even know. There's also somebody, Hogwarts, one of the episodes, they pointed out that Ana Lucia and Libby basically were off the show because they got DUIs in Australia, and they basically didn't want to get a bad reputation for the show. So that's why they got tossed. But like crazy things you find out by watching reactions. So definitely recommend, if you have favorite shows out there, watch reactors react to them, because you will find out things you never knew. Have you seen Breaking Bad? Breaking Bad, I marathoned like about a year ago. I wasn't reacting back then. I had never seen it. And I I marathoned season 1 all the way to the end. I think there's 5 seasons. Season 1 to the end, marathon in like 2 weeks. Obviously binged it, really loved it. Tried reacting to Better Call Saul. I have episode 1 up, but I think only one part of episode 1 is up because I couldn't get the edit right. I have since learned a lot about editing and figuring out algorithms. I probably could go back and re-edit that now and get it to stick up. The only reason I didn't continue Better Call Saul was because I couldn't get episodes to stay, and the re-editing process was taking forever. HBO is extremely lenient with their content, so I get a lot more of HBO's content out. But Better Call Saul was giving me such a hard time, I never actually continued with it. Once I finish these shows that I'm all on, because I got Misfits to throw in, Barry to throw in, once I finish all that up, I'm going to give Better Call Saul another go around. I guarantee you, now that I've learned what I know about editing and the algorithms and stuff, I guarantee you I can get Better Call Saul to go up without a hitch. So, gonna save that one, but definitely gonna watch Better Call Saul. I am on episode 3. I put up episode 1. Episode 1 got flagged. I never edited up episode 2, but I have episode 2 filmed. So eventually Better Call Saul will go up there. That is recommended by many people, and a lot of my close friends watch it, constantly want to talk about it, and I can never let them because I don't want spoilers. So definitely going to watch Better Call Saul at some point. If so, Walter White is one of my most hated characters of all time. Love the writing, but he made me physically sick. Stringer Bell was approaching near Walt levels to me. That's kind of how I felt about Stringer and Ziggy. But Stringer was an intelligent guy that was just selfish and dirty. Ziggy was like a piece of shit that only cared about himself and fucked everybody over. But Walter White, I never liked the character. I wouldn't say I hated him like that, but Walter White, I never really liked. He was kind of cocky and arrogant, and that was the point. But honestly, I binge watched that show so fast. I would say, like, I forget it. I might be saying this wrong, but I think Tico or what the heck was the guy's name? I think he was in episode 1 of Better Call Saul. The guy that was in the house that pulled the gun on him. I think his name was Tico. He was one of my favorite characters. I loved him. I loved the bald guy that was in Better Call Saul. That was the ticket attendant. I cannot remember their names off the top of my head. But honestly, I didn't think Breaking Bad was as good as most people. Don't get me wrong. It was a great show. I binge watched it in 2 weeks. But it was one of those shows where, like, when I was done, I'm like, all right, it was good. And I never cared to revisit it. Like if a show is like the greatest thing ever, then you want to revisit it. Like Lost, I revisit all the time. Game of Thrones, with regards to the last season, I revisit all the time. I'm not kidding, guys. The other day, I would watch Game of Thrones hands down anytime. Tuco, thank you, S. Tuco was one of my favorites. I would sit down and watch Game of Thrones if anyone would ever ask. If you were like, Jay, you feel like watching an episode of Game of Thrones? You could put on the worst, shittiest episode of Game of Thrones ever, and I would sit down and rewatch it from beginning to end. I loved anything and everything Game of Thrones. Season 8 pissed me off so much with the direction it took. The other day, someone was like, yo, you feel like watching like an episode of Game of Thrones? I was like, I actually don't, because I'm still not over how shitty season 8 ended. And I like, honestly, watching any episode, even if it's like my favorite episode, will piss me off, because I'll start watching like the Hodor episode, and then after it's over, I'll be like, oh yeah, and now it all just sucks. Like, I don't know. I was one of those people, if you didn't know me, that despise season 8 of Game of Thrones. I thought they dragged episode 1 and 2 way too much. I would have been okay with that had episode 3 not had the Night King die in the first battle he's ever fought against them. And then everything from there to me just went downhill. Daenerys turning and blowing up the whole friggin' town, like going from like street to street to street, just like an hour and a half of brutal massacre for no reason other than like shock factor. It wasn't good writing. I didn't like it. I just saw the other day that Game of Thrones got nominated for 32 Emmys, the most a show has ever got nominated by far. I don't know what the original record was, but somebody said it was like they blew it away. And I don't mind, because don't get me wrong, the cinematography, the acting, the actors, everyone is phenomenal. And the cinematography is great. The visuals, the CGI, everything looks amazing. The writing was just horrible. Everyone I know will say kind of the same thing. Like, I give the show credit. If it wasn't attached to Game of Thrones and that was just like an isolated season of something else, I probably wouldn't have liked it, but I wouldn't have had so much invested, like the Night King. I wouldn't have all this invested. That's what pissed me off, that you had all this shit with the Night King invested in, and they just ended it like in one night, one battle. I don't know. I disliked a lot of it. And the writing got nominated for an Emmy. Benioff and Weiss got nominated for the writing. I will accept every other award. Nobody should have ever, even if you don't agree with me and you think the writing was good, it shouldn't have got nominated for an award. There's way too much controversy surrounding it. I cannot believe Benioff and Weiss got nominated for writing. Sorry, I went on a rant. If you guys know me, sometimes I go off on a rant. And if you don't know that, it's because I edit most of my rants out. And when it's live, I kind of go off on a tangent. And I forget that some of you might just be like, all right, we get it. Have you ever seen the show Homicide on NBC? It's in the 90s. It was based in Baltimore and ended up being an inspiration for The Corner and the Wire. I heard of Homicide. Joey Dangerously wrote that. I heard of Homicide. I actually have never seen it. surprise, surprise, I have never seen a cop show. Like The Shield, well, The Wire might be, if you guys remember way in the beginning of The Wire, I've mentioned this. A lot of people wanted me to watch The Shield. I never watched The Shield because I just never would get into cop shows. I've never seen CSI, any NYPD Blue, Law and Order, The Shield. What's the one with Simpowitz? I think that's Law and Order. I know the characters. I know the pop culture references and stuff like that. I have just never seen a cop drama. And one of my last girlfriends got really into Chicago, all the Chicago shows, like there's Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, and Chicago PD, I think it is. And they would all come out at the same time. She was obsessed with them. And I started watching them, and I actually did dig them. It's not that I hate cop shows. I just never got into them. And in my mind, there's so many that I don't know where to start. And a lot of them have been running for 30 years. Maybe not that long, but I feel like CSI, Law and Order, all those kind of NYPD Blue. I don't think that's on anymore, but I feel like all those shows ran 10, 20 seasons. And I don't know if I want to dive that deep into that kind of stuff when I have so much other stuff to watch. And there's stuff like Star Trek, The Next Generation and stuff like that I am more interested in. I'm more of a science fiction, adventure guy than a cop drama. But I said, The Wire is a cop drama and I'm loving it. So it's not that I hate it. It's just, I never really got into any of them because I never watched any of them. You're reacting to Better Call Saul. Of course you've seen Breaking Bad. Yeah. Oh yeah. That was from before. We'll finish Better Call Saul at some point. Promise. That is definitely in my to-do list. As is Barry. Already started doing Misfits. Hopefully when I finish Stranger Things, I'll get another couple of Misfits out. Only 6 episodes in season 1. I want to try to at least get through season 1 before the end of next month, the summer. So hopefully that happens. Adventure Time, I don't know if any of you want to talk about that, but that show is batshit crazy, but I'm digging it. Some people don't like season 2 because of the docs. Some don't like season 5 because of the aliens. I like them all. Bodhi was on The Sopranos. Bodhi was also on Oz. I remember seeing Bodhi on Oz. The funny thing was, a random episode of Oz was on TV the other day. I forget what channel, but there was a weird, Lifetime type channel that was showing episodes of Oz. And I saw the episode with Bodhi. I don't know if it was a coincidence. I mean, it must be because it's not like The Wire is on. Just because I'm watching it right now doesn't mean other people are. And it was an episode with Bodhi in it. I'm like, holy shit, what a coincidence. But I don't remember him from The Sopranos. Do you remember? What was he in? I've seen it. So see, here's the thing. I've watched Sopranos 6 times through, but I didn't know Bodhi then. I haven't watched Sopranos since I knew who Bodhi was. So I obviously would immediately pick him out. But who is Joey Dangerously? Who in Sopranos was Bodhi? Someone I'd remember because I've watched Sopranos a lot. Have you ever seen the show Power? Shaquille Burton, if you're still in the room, sorry that I did not respond, but I'm going down. I have seen Power. Loved the show, but I have not seen the last 2 or 3 seasons. I don't know. What season are they on of Power? I know I've seen at least the first 2 seasons, maybe got into season 3, but I loved the show. It was one of those things where they took a break and I stopped having cable and Stars Network was on cable. So I didn't have access to the show. So as soon as I lose access to a show and I have things like Netflix that never go away, I basically find other things to watch. So based on that, I never finished Power, but loved the show. Definitely gave me vibes of what the heck would that be like? It's sort of like Sopranos, like a Sopranos mixed with The Wire because of the drug element. It's very, very good show. To go. It's frustrating because it didn't need to be that way. They rushed it because they wanted to. That's speaking of Game of Thrones. Yes, I agree, Ray. They rushed it. It's frustrating. Oh, I'm doing that again. Alfie Allen finally Alfie Allen got nominated for Best Supporting Actor. So, and I don't mind that. He's a great actor. The character, I've had my ups and downs. He ended on a good note, but the actor's phenomenal. All the actors are. I couldn't think of a bad actor in Game of Thrones, like right off the top of my head. I remember there were parts where I was like, but like for the most part, everyone's pretty good. I'm still not over that season of Game of Thrones. I'm going to be bitter about it. Steph, that's what I was basically saying. It's one of those things where I don't want to revisit it right now because I know it ends. Like even Lost, I could compare Game of Thrones kind of to Lost. Lost rushed the final season in my mind. They ended it in a very bizarre way. And like I said, I feel like if you revisit it, it actually makes sense because I honestly, speaking honestly, I wasn't really clear on the ending of Lost the first time around. I'm like, what? Like, it's very confusing. The second watch through, I'm like, oh, now I get it. Because a lot of people I've talked to still think that Lost is that everyone died. That like a lot of people, the majority of the people I talk to thinks that Lost ended where like the island didn't exist and everyone died. And that whole thing was like just like them in like limbo or purgatory. Like so many people I talk to say that. You'll even see memes and stuff where people are like, spoiler alert, everyone's dead and lost or something like that. Like some memes don't even get it right. Not everyone died. The island was real. The island really happened. The ending was just like a meeting point after they all died years and years later. Hurley could have found out the cure for a disease and lived to be 300, and him meeting in the church was Hurley 300 years later. A lot of people don't understand that, but I don't know. I like having rewatched it many times, but Game of Thrones, there is no like, oh, I get it now. They killed off the Night King in one episode because of this. In my mind, there is no explanation for why they did what they did. I could accept Lost because it does make sense. And there are things, if you rewatch it, that are, you're like, oh, well, they did do this, and that was leading to this and this and this and this. And now I can, like I said in the beginning, I'm not making excuses for it, but I could see why they did it and how they got there. In Game of Thrones, I just do not understand why they would do what they did in so many, like, all right, you kill off the Night King. I was like, fine, maybe they'll bring him back sometime. How? Maybe they'll explain it all. There was so much lore involving the Night King. They didn't explain why were all the sigils there. Like they would show so much, pay so much detail and attention to the Night King stuff, and then just killed him off an episode. Then I'm like, all right, maybe something will happen to redeem it. Then they make Daenerys go bad. Then they make her go like so evil that she literally murders millions of people street by street, an entire episode of slaughter. It's like, all right, I get it. Like you want to show the amount of slaughter, but like it was just wasted. I mean, it looked beautiful, but it was just wasted time. And in my mind, there is no excuse for the direction they took at the end. I find very few people that could justify it. Even people that hated on me, like I understand, like after the Night King dying, a lot of people were like, dude, that's like what they wanted to do. And I was bitter about it because the Night King was my favorite aspect of Game of Thrones. So I was bitter, and I think they did a horrible choice, and like the whole thing was ridiculous. But I understand why people are like, give it a chance. Even the people after episode 3 that said give it a chance hated that Daenerys turned and that it went the way it went. Then Bran becomes king, and it's like, I don't know, everything about it. I think it was just rushed and horribly done. TB, no, The Wire's tomorrow. I'm going to have episode 1 out tomorrow of The Wire. Probably late. I have to go to a funeral. A member of my family passed away. So I'm going to a funeral 2 hours away, and it's like a 4-hour thing, and then I got to come back. So it will be out at some point tomorrow, but it might be out later than usual. But I will have episode 1 of season 5 out tomorrow. Sorry if it looked like I was yelling at you. I was just being me. So let's see. I'm missing some comments here. Tuco, Alfie Allen. The Wire exists in the same universe as Law and Order. Does it? Is that a real thing? Joey, is that a joke or is that real? The Wire exists in the same world as Law and Order? Like Law and Order will make references, or like it just, I don't know. That's weird. I've never seen Law and Order, so I don't know. Yeah, the awards are complete horse shit, Ray. I mean, I used to look forward to watching the Academy Awards. I still watch it, but like that's the only award show I watch besides like the MTV Movie Awards. Sometimes I'll watch that. I'll watch the People's Choice Awards because that makes the most sense. But like I used to watch all award shows and I kind of just it's just so much political bullshit now. Everyone, the last award show I watched, I literally cannot remember what it was, but I literally turned it off because I don't care what your political stance is on the president, but all they did was talk about Donald Trump. And I was like, I'm here to watch a movie award show. And they were like berating him at some points. And like, and just in general, I don't want to hear about Donald Trump when I'm watching a movie award show. And I literally remember turning it off and not watching the rest of it because I was like, oh my God, if they make one more Donald Trump reference, I'm going to kill myself. Like I said, I'm not saying I hate the guy or like the guy. I'm just saying I don't want that in my movie award show. You should definitely react to battle. See, Steph, Steph knows my Battlestar. I have Battlestar Galactica, 2 or 3 copies of it unopened on HD DVD. I have an HD DVD player. I have 3 copies of Battlestar Galactica season 1 and the movies or like the TV movies or whatever the heck they are. Steph said I should watch them. Steph, was I supposed to watch the TV movies first or last? Because they're on the box set too. I've never seen anything Battlestar Galactica. I got them as gifts for an HD DVD player. I have one and I have them unopened. But one day, 100% one day, we're going to do an unboxing and I am going to watch Battlestar Galactica on HD DVD. But you have to watch the 3-hour miniseries first. All right. The first and then the first season. So on the box set, I have the 3-hour miniseries and all the commentaries and all the episodes of season 1. So Battlestar Galactica will happen at some point. There's just so many things. It is so hard. I wish I had the money to hire an editor because I will sit and watch hours of television nonstop. The editing part is just so tedious and time consuming that it's like, even if I have the time in a day to do it, I'm like, do I want to waste 2 hours of my free time editing a video? So I do the ones I have to first. And then like, I'm just so spent. I don't have enough time in a day. I wish I could hire an editor. I would just literally watch things nonstop all day long and just send them over to the editor and be like, do your thing. And I'm just going to keep watching. If I did that, I would have Stranger Things done. I'd probably be done with Deadwood already. Definitely done with The Wire. It's just the editing process consumes so much. If I watch an hour-long episode, in essence, it is taking me 4 hours to get that to you guys because it's an hour watch. Then I have to like get everything like in the right formats and stuff, throw it up on DaVinci and then edit it. And because I do 3 parts, it takes me about an hour each part. A part's only like 10 or 15 minutes, but to get it all chopped up and converted and everything, and then the rendering, it takes me a good 4 hours to do an hour show. Adventure Time is spoiling me right now, but Adventure Time, believe it or not, has really tough algorithms. I thought Adventure Time would be so easy. I could just throw up like, cut this, boom. It is as difficult as Netflix shows, but doing an hour-long show takes 4 hours. So if you take an 8-episode season like Stranger Things, that is roughly 8 to 9 hours total because some episodes are longer. That in essence takes me like about 26 to 30 man hours of editing to get all those up to you guys. It's just a ridiculous thing. Maybe someone needs to teach me how to edit faster, but I mean, like, I think it's just is what it is. How do you edit faster? I'm literally got to rewatch the episode to make sure I cut right and stuff. If you watch my original edits from The Wire, I wish I could re-edit the original Wires or refilm them, I should say. My audio is horrible. I literally just make abrupt cuts where like someone's talking, it just hammers through, or there's a song playing and then it's just dead silence. And then it was me basically learning on the fly. I really wish I could re-edit those, but I can't. I don't know. Coming from you guys that have watched The Wire, is it fun to see the progression of my quality, or is it like really hard to get through in the beginning? Be honest with me, because I see some people go like, dude, I'm on season 1, I'm on season 2 and I'm not watching anymore. People like are mean in the comments. Like, episode 1 of season 2, and you won't shut the fuck up, blah, 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 blah. I also, if you've noticed, have really slowed down my talking ability in the episodes. I barely talk in my reactions now because in the beginning, I thought I was supposed to do that. I thought I was supposed to not shut up and just talk. I thought people wanted to not have dead air, but I've learned a nice balance. And if you guys have noticed, I have gotten much better with talking over character, especially talking over people. I usually never talk over characters now. If I do speak, it's when I know there's like a break or a scene change or something like that. But just curious what you guys think. In the beginning, is it hard to get through, or is it cool to see the progression of the quality and the audio and stuff like that? What else we got here? You should definitely react to Battlestar Galactica. Bodhi carjacked Tony. I think so Bodhi, it was when Tony got carjacked. I'm definitely going to have to check that out. I'm sure if I type it in Google, it'll give me the episode and everything. But I mean, I'm assuming Tony probably got carjacked a bunch of times. But that's cool. I'm definitely going to check that out. I'm happy to see you in the room too, Joey. We definitely had our chats about Johnny Dangerously. Farganice Hole. I agree with you on Breaking Bad. It's really, really good, but I don't think it's on the same level as The Wire, Sopranos. Maybe on the Boardwalk Empire. I'll say I would agree with you there. I watched all of Boardwalk Empire, loved Boardwalk Empire, loved like the gambling. I grew up in Jersey my whole life, so a lot of the areas are relatable. And like, I mean, obviously they're not the same because it's 100 years ago, but Atlantic City, that whole aspect, it was cool to see. I, at one point, lived at Atlantic City. Like, I didn't literally have my mailing address there, but there was a point in my life where all I did was drink and gamble, and I would get accommodations for free at any casino on the Strip. I could literally stay in Atlantic City for months on end and not pay for a thing. Food, hotels, anything. I got whatever I wanted, but it was a degenerate life of gambling and drinking. I don't regret it. It has some great stories, and I made some good money. Luckily, I could have not, but it was cool to watch a show that showed like the building up of Atlantic City, having been there as much as I had. But I did see Boardwalk Empire, and like you just said, Perry, I would definitely put it not in the tier of Sopranos. Great show, don't get me wrong, but I would say Breaking Bad falls in that tier with Boardwalk Empire, where I've never had a desire to rewatch Boardwalk Empire. It's like it ended. I was like, all right, that was a really good show. I'm done with it. Like, I'm sure you guys have had shows like that and you know what I'm talking about. Like certain shows just end and you're like, I'm good with that. And you're done. Certain shows are rewatchable, like for reasons like Lost, where you'll catch things. It's not like you're going to rewatch Breaking Bad and be like, oh my God, I mean, you'll probably see things you missed, but you're not going to be like, that's why he died at the end. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's like real, like dramas. So I don't know. Even though Sopranos is a real time drama. I don't know. Maybe it's the Italian in me. I love Sopranos. I can't get enough of Sopranos. I can't not even say Sopranos would be in my top 3 of all time just because of how many times I've seen it and everyone I love. The acting in that is amazing. I'm trying to think and we even got Nucky. We got Steve Buscemi from Boardwalk Empire as Tony's brother in that. What else we got here? I agree with you on Breaking Bad. I read that. They are starting season 6 next month, and you should catch up. It's gotten crazy. Shaquille Burton, you were saying that? I got to go back. Where was that? Power. Oh, my God. They're starting season 6? Then I'm definitely way behind. I think I stopped. I don't even think I finished season 3. I'm going to probably start back on season 3. I know I've seen at least 1 or 2 of season 3, but maybe I haven't. But put it this way, if they're starting season 6, then I have at least 2, maybe 3 full seasons of Power to watch. I definitely want to watch that. I loved it. What was his name in it? What was the guy's name in Power? Ghost was the main guy. Loved his wife, even though she was... Actually, no, I did love his wife. I'm confusing her with somebody else. No, his wife was great. What was his friend's name? The white guy that was his friend. Ghost's friend, Mickey? Was his name Mickey? Same with Ray Donovan. Ray Donovan was at one point one of my favorite shows on television. I stopped watching it about 2 seasons ago because it started getting slow. It started slowing down. And I have not seen the last 2, maybe 3 episodes of Ray Donovan. I think someone told me that it's only going on for like another year. Maybe this is the last season. I don't know. But Ray Donovan is another one like Power where I canceled my cable, so I didn't have Showtime or Stars, and I didn't have cable for like a year because everything was Netflix. I was like moving stuff around, so I fell behind. And once I fell behind a season, now I have Showtime, Stars, all that stuff again. But it fell way behind. Too many shows to watch. But Shaquille, I will definitely react to that. I'm wondering, is there any other reactors reacting to Power? I haven't really noticed anybody. Love Battlestar. That would be a good one. Definitely going to do Battlestar at some point. Also, if you like Adventure Time, you should watch Regular Show. It's just this Regular Show. I definitely heard of Regular Show. Ray, did you show me episodes? My brother's in the chat. Ray, did you show me episodes of Regular Show? I feel like I've seen it or at least heard of it. It's just as bizarre as Adventure Time. We'll see. I can't do too many at once, but when I finish Adventure Time in 30 years, because I hear what is Adventure Time? Like 11 seasons, a lot of stuff. I'm going to start. Someone in the comments said maybe you should double up on episodes because it makes more sense and they're quicker. So I might start doing 2 once I finish Stranger Things and catch up on everything. I'm going to start trying to get extra episodes of Adventure Time because if I do 1 a week, I'll be doing Adventure Time for like 3 years, literally. So that's a lot. Maybe 2 years, but a long time. I don't want to be doing Adventure Time every Thursday for 2 years. Copy that. They forced book plot points without outline proper setups. I think S Dot's talking about Game of Thrones. That's why he said they exist. Oh, no. You guys are talking about Law and Order being in the same universe as The Wire. They forced book plot points without the outline. Okay. You have to watch the 3-hour miniseries first. Saw that. John Wick or Jason Bourne? Who? That's an interesting one. I thought right away I was going to go with John Wick, but I think I'll go with John Wick. I don't know, guys. What do you think about that? TB is asking John Wick or Jason Bourne. That is a rough one because I do enjoy both, but I think I enjoy John Wick a little more. I think I'd go with John Wick. I heard the end of Battlestar Galactica is definitely not great. I did hear that too. There's an actor on Law and Order whose character, John Munch, has, cameoed in the most shows of any character ever. And he has a cameo in The Wire, and before being in Law and Order was on Homicide. And he played the same character. There's an actor on Law and Order whose character, John Munch, has cameo. Yeah, and he played John Munch. That's interesting. That's why he said they exist in the same universe. All right, so I get that. Hey, you make a connection like that and it's canon, I guess I'd have to agree, even if it's something subtle. You should watch The Corner. It was a miniseries predecessor to The Wire. A lot of the same actors show up. Joey, we were talking about that earlier. I guess you weren't in the room yet. I'm probably going to do it as soon as The Wire ends. I'm probably going to jump into The Corner. I think they said it's only 6 episodes or something. Regular Show is great if you want to watch a show sporadically and have a great time being confused. Almost the same as FLCL. What is FLCL? I know that. Why am I brain farting? FLCL. I know that's something I should obviously know, and I cannot think of it. You've gotten better as you've gone along, but I don't think your first reactions were that bad. Thank you. I figured they weren't that bad, Steph, because people kept watching. Some of my first Wire videos have over 1,000 views now, which means it is catching on and it's building. In the beginning, I think a lot of people jumped on thinking, because I wrote like Saints fan reacts to The Wire. I think it confused people, which is why I changed my channel name and everything else. In the very beginning, if you guys didn't watch, I think Steph's been around since then. But I don't know if any of you else in the room, I think some of you are newer. My brother knows, but I think Steph might be the only other one. My original channel name was Saints Fan Reacts because I started this. I am a huge New Orleans Saints fan. I freaked out about the Saints getting robbed of their playoff opportunity. And I started doing The Wire really drunk one night after the game. and I had Saints fan reactions. So since then, I started getting bigger. People were getting confused, thinking I was a sports related channel, which I don't blame them. And they were also thinking I was in New Orleans, which I don't blame them. I'm in Jersey, and I only am a Saints fan for other reasons that I don't want to get into right now because it's a story. If you guys want to know, you could ask, but I don't want to bore you if you guys don't want to know. But that is my life. I live in Jersey my whole life. And I am a New Orleans Saints fan and started YouTube because of the Saints getting robbed. So one good thing came out of that. The Saints got screwed over, but you guys are talking to me right now, and it's a lot of fun. So I do not regret life choices. You've gotten better. But Steph is saying that she didn't mind my reactions, but I've definitely gotten better. I'm assuming she's right because the audio was horrendous in some you couldn't even hear the episode of The Wire. It was very hard in the beginning for me to, because I literally learned everything on the fly. So it's like I'd fix one thing, like maybe the episode was too soft, but then my audio would be too loud. But then my visuals, I think in the first 5 episodes of The Wire, I didn't have HD on my camera. I had an HD camera, but I had the settings at like 480p or something like that. So it was very grainy and my audio was horrible all the time because I was constantly messing with things. Now I have everything's like set to predetermined settings based on Netflix, based on other streaming services. Like I literally have a thing written down like decibel level for my audio and the show audio, whether it's HBO, Netflix, and so on, because each one has their own algorithms and I've sort of figured them out. HBO lets you get away with a lot. I don't know if it's because the shows are older or not, but no, it can't be because they're older, because I've done Game of Thrones and newer shows. HBO just has very lenient settings, which is funny because that's probably how I got banned from live streaming to begin with. I took advantage of HBO's leniency and they nailed me for it. So that was my fault. But anyway, a few of those actors are Be More. Therefore, The Corner, Homicide, and The Wire have a lot of connections. Oh, Baltimore. Season 1, your reactions were funny because you thought every character in a tough situation was going to John Wick their way out of it. True. In season 1 of The Wire, I'm expecting it to be like most ridiculous TV shows nowadays where they like things just happen, but this is like a real life drama, so to speak. So it definitely, I was expecting twists around every corner, and this show is not about twists. I was trying not to spoil Munch started on I was trying not to spoil Munch started on Homicide. Okay. Homicide is the show from the 90s. Now, Joey, I'm assuming you're a big fan of cop shows. Joey Dangerously. Was Homicide like one of your favorite of that genre, or you're just saying like it had connections? Sorry if my camera's getting all blurry. Did you hear that HBO made some 2-3 minutes prequel shorts for The Wire? Specifically Omar, Bunk, and Jimmy. I did not. Did you hear that HBO made some 2 to 3 minute prequel shorts recently or back when The Wire aired? Is that like something they did after the fact, or is it like back when the show aired? I enjoy the passion you have when you watch The Wire, like when Wallace got killed and when you didn't know if D was dead and when Bubbles kept getting beat up in the I do wear my emotions on my sleeve. I've said this in many reactions. I will flip a shit. I get very frustrated. I kind of put myself into the situation and I get mad when I hate bullies and I hate when people put up with bullies. I was bullied a lot. Like as a kid, I was bullied a lot. I was very short and very fat when I was little. I then grew a foot and started working out. And I since then got better with the whole thing. And now I don't beat the shit out of nice people, but I stick up for myself and I don't take any shit. If you see my other videos, I've gotten like 10 to 15 years of martial arts, MMA, boxing in my background. So I can definitely fend for myself and I don't take any shit, but I'm also a super nice guy. I just got bullied a lot as a kid. So I went into all these self-defense classes and stuff like that. As I got older, started working out, lifting weights. I do construction now. I stay in pretty good shape. So I do get very passionate and I hate bullies and when people get bullied. Hence why I freak when Herc shit on Bubbles and didn't help him getting beat up by that guy. And his friends in power is Tommy. The guy's in power. The white dude that is ghost friend in power, Mr. Tommy. Seedless watermelon. I'm back. I went to the gas station buying some tea. What kind of tea do you prefer, Seedless watermelon? I'm a what is it called? I get it from Target, something leaf. It is amazing tea. I don't know how much it costs. It might be expensive. I just throw it on the conveyor belt and I pay for it. I have all this other stuff, so I never know how much it costs. Maybe it's very pricey. All I know is it is goddamn delicious. Real leaf, that's it, real leaf. If that shit is cheap, I should be buying more of it. I only throw a 6-pack up because it just looks pricey to me, but it is delicious. But yes, you were right, Seedless Watermelon. Real leaf is a great tea, and this isn't an infomercial. I stopped Ray Donovan too. I couldn't handle watching John Voight anymore. His character was too much for me. Steph, I think I fall into that boat too. I feel like Ray Donovan not only started getting worse as the season went on, I think I got through season 4, but I don't think, not only did it get worse as seasons went on, but Ray Donovan also started repeating a lot of the same scenarios. It's always about Terry and his gym and John Voight being a horrible father and Ray Donovan being like, I got such a hard life. Meanwhile, he cheats on his wife like it's his job and murders people and beats people up. Granted, he mainly does it to bad people, but I definitely feel like Ray Donovan, they're only 4 seasons in when I stopped watching, and they already started repeating very similar story arcs over and over. Keeps going back to Terry being like a cripple and he can't fight, and like the girl he's dating, and like I don't know, like a lot of it just seemed very repetitious, and that was a big reason why I stopped watching too, along with losing my cable. Yeah, I think Jason and I showed you at some point. All right, my brother's saying regular. What was it? Regular TV? Regular show. My brother's saying he thinks he showed me years ago, regular show. I definitely remember that. Adventure Time is 10 seasons or so, with some episode being miniseries in the middle of seasons, sometimes 3 episodes, sometimes 6. Interesting. I believe, I'm not sure how much I have. I totally forgot I only have season 1 of Misfits. So I got to actually get season 2 of Misfits. I forget how much of Adventure Time I have. But I always forget about that. The other day, I went to react to Misfits, and I'm like, oh, shit, I just totally realized when I get to season 2, I'm going to have to do that. Like, if I don't get it, I'm going to, like, obviously, one day I'm going to have time to do it. I'm going to be like, oh, I can't because I don't have the friggin' show. Fooly Cooley, an anime that has 6 episodes. I actually didn't. Is that FLCL? Fooly Cooley. My room got dark. I don't think I've ever heard of that. On a 6-episode anime? What did you, can you believe someone actually? Is that a newer show? Is that why there's only 6 episodes, or it was just a really short series? Have you seen 300? Do you remember McNulty? Oh my God. Somebody pointed that out in something. I didn't realize. I've seen 300, the Spartan movie 300. I've seen it many times. I had no idea. I kept looking at McNulty at points, and I'm like, why do I know that guy? And I would look at I'm afraid to look at IMDb because I don't want to see spoilers. I'm afraid I'll see like only in 20 episodes. And I'm like, oh my God, next episode's number 20 and McNulty's dead. So I try not to look at IMDb, but I did it somewhere. Someone said something like, you do know McNulty's the guy from 300. As soon as they said that, it clicked. And I'm like, oh my God, he's the fucking scumbag from 300. Like the guy that bangs. What the frig is this? Oh my God. How do I know? Leonidas, the guy that bangs Leonidas' wife for money and then rats her out anyway, like a scumbag. But see, since I didn't remember, if I had remembered McNulty from 300, I might not like McNulty as much as I did, because now I hate the character that he plays in 300. But having loved McNulty and built up such a love for the character, it really didn't bother me once I found out he was the scumbag guy, because I already knew him as McNulty. So thank God I didn't recognize him right away. Law and Order, OG, not S. What is OG? What is there a Law and Order OG, not SVU? Because I heard of SVU. What's OG? Is that the original gangster? Law and Order, original gangster. It crossed over with Homicide several times. Back when The Wire was airing, they aired prequels. Oh, back when The Wire was airing, they aired the prequels to the show that he was saying. How many, can you believe someone actually, how many did they actually do? Did they do like just a couple for the characters or like every episode? Because I'm curious about that. The Wire was supposed to be 6 seasons with the 6 focused on Hispanics, but HBO didn't want to keep making a show people didn't watch. Why? Season 5 ratings went down? Was season 5's? I'm actually curious about that. Was it actually planned that it was going to end at season 5, or like halfway through season 5 the ratings declined and they stopped? What really makes me like you was the way kept giving Presbo hell in the season 1. Yeah, well, Presbo, because I hate dirty cops. And in the beginning, Presbo, he wasn't necessarily a dirty cop, but he was trying to fit in too much and doing all the wrong things. And not for nothing, I understand his family was connected, which is why he got all these passes. But the dude, like 3 strikes you're out kind of thing. Presbo fucked up 3 times in like the first half of season 1. Luckily, they made him do a Carver. Well, I should say Carver did a Presbo. And they both turned around and are quite the gentleman now. Very, very oriented with helping the youth. Like at the end there, Carver went back to the old stomping ground of the Fayette crew? Was it the Fayette crew? And they had the new little kids, and you could see Carver's trying to get them while they're young. And that's what Colvin's trying to do. And that's what Presbo is trying to do. Everyone's trying to like the answer is to fix them before they get ruined. Harney and Sons Cinnamon Sunset is my favorite tea. I've never heard of such a thing. Harney and Sons? Oh, that's the name of it. Cinnamon Sunset. Is that a brand? I've never heard of such a thing. I am intrigued. You could buy it online for cheap. They stopped selling it at my Walmart, and I only just got a subtle replacement. Oh, a suitable replacement. Harney and Sons. I'm definitely going to look that up. I do drink a fair amount of tea myself, and I wouldn't mind trying some Harney and Sons cinnamon tea. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. All right, let me catch up. Have you seen BoJack Horseman? That was brought up earlier. I have not. I think I've seen a couple here and there with friends, but not like watched it, sat down, focused on it. The show that thrives on making the viewer feel sad. Oh, yeah, the BoJack. Everyone tells me that. They say you cannot watch BoJack Horseman without being utterly depressed at all times. They said he is a horrible, I would say human being, but I know he's a horse. So he's a horrible horse. We already discussed that earlier, but he should definitely react to it. There you go. I just reiterated what Seedless said. McNulty raped Cersei Lannister. Did he? Cersei Lannister. McNulty was one of the... When did McNulty rape Cersei Lannister? Cersei Lannister. I had to think about that because I'm brain farting. Was it when... I'm trying to think of when that could have been. What is it? When the Sparrows took over? Like when the religious freaks took over everything? I don't remember that. Cersei was... Oh. Cersei was in 300. I missed Joey's first comment. My bad. So yeah, Cersei was Leonidas' wife. Yeah, now it's all coming out. I didn't read on. Cult classic, kind of. And then it says Leonidas' wife is Lena Headey, otherwise known as Cersei Lannister. Totally got confused there for a second. I was like, how did I not remember McNulty being a guy in Game of Thrones? Fooly Cooley, a.k.a. FLCL, was made in 2003, only had 6 episodes on purpose, and it is the hypest 6 episodes to grave TV sets. Can anyone else confirm that? I've never heard of that. Fooly Cooley. I'm shocked because that's around when I watched anime. I watched it like, I would say from like the end of middle school through college. I was huge into anime. Maybe that's why... Oh my God, that is what I do. I remember FLCL, but I don't think anyone referred to it as Fooly Cooley. I literally just had one of those moments where I remembered being in school and someone like giving me the thing. I remember seeing the copy and it said FLCL. Totally do remember it. It was when I was really into anime, but I never saw it. I definitely didn't see it. Fooly Cooley. That is like, that literally just gave me like nostalgic chills because I literally just had like a flash of like middle school, like a kid. We would literally exchange anime. We would go to this flea market on Route 18 in Jersey, and there was a guy that would sell bootleg anime and martial arts films. Really into martial arts. I'm very into all martial arts. Donnie Yen, Tony Jaa. Like I watch lots of martial arts films. I'm into martial arts. I took martial arts. I black belt, almost a black belt in judo, black belt in taekwondo, boxing for many years, MMA with friends. That's not a joke. I would do MMA with guys who actually were amateur fighters, but I would basically get my ass kicked. You think you know a lot. When you fight a real fighter, you get humbled quickly. But I could hold my own against your average Joe, put it that way. All I know is we would literally go to middle school and high school and we would exchange bootleg anime. Like I'd be like, I'm going to buy this series. You buy that series. We'll swap Record of Lotus War. We got like old school stuff. Cause I'm a child of the 80s, but like grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s. So I like Fist of the North Star, Ninja Scroll. Like I was really into Ranma one half. Like Ranma one half, I know it's cheesy and it's like considered like it's not violent and stuff, but I know it gets, I feel like it gets a bad rap, Ranma one half, but I love that show. I have the video games, I have the comic books, I have the novels and stuff. Very, very big fan of Ranma. Law and Order was on for 20 years. OG is just the original. Okay. Oh, OG original. I'm thinking the G is gangster, but I guess it's OG original. The Wire wasn't really that famous. No Emmy nominations or wins. Are you kidding me? The Wire never won awards for writing. It didn't even win. Did it win writing or just like, that shocks me. Like, not that the acting is bad, but I'm shocked. Was it? And never even got nominated? That is baffling. Are you sure it never got nominated? Nominations, if it's one thing to never win, that's shocking in itself. But to never get nominated, I'm blown away if that's a true statement. I'm not saying you're lying. I just cannot believe it was never nominated. I don't think The Wire ever had a very high ratings. It was officially it was critically acclaimed, but not many people were watching it. He is a way better teacher than a cop, definitely about Prez. Actually, the prequels were only for 4 characters for some odd reason, probably because The Wire wasn't popular on TV due to it being super slow. All right, so I'll check them out after everything's done. Season 1 through 5, people really didn't watch. Now people love it, but they didn't get much recognition while on air. That's shocking to me. I mean, I guess it's not because I was watching all the shows that were on HBO at the time and I didn't watch it. But I think I told people this once. I am not kidding. This has nothing to do with me being stupid or anything, but I never watched The Wire because I literally thought The Wire, I somehow avoided all trailers and all promotions and thought The Wire was about wire. That might sound insane. I literally thought it had something to do with wire, like barbed wire and they were in a prison, or like wire, like a wire fence and they're cow herders or something. I don't know. All I know is I never thought The Wire was a cop show. And honestly, had I probably still wouldn't have watched it because I didn't watch cop shows. So it somehow escaped me as well. But amazing, amazing show. Very happy I watched it. The Wire became a cult classic well after it ended. I guess it's kind of cool too because I would have never started this. The Wire is the reason I started YouTube. So I might not have ever started YouTube because it was such... I heard about The Wire from so many people as it being this all-time greatest show of all time. One of the few shows on that list that I hadn't seen. If you guys give me your top 10s, I could tell you the rundown if I've seen and what I've not seen. But I'm willing to bet, if you want, feel free, write your favorite shows and I'll scan through them when I do. But I'm willing to bet 99% of the shows that are on your top, I've seen. The Wire is always popping up on top 5s and I've never seen it. So that is what got me into the whole reaction thing. And like someone asked earlier, I was a big reactor fan. Like I would watch reactions of The Lost and Game of Thrones all the time. So I was like, no one's ever done The Wire. I've never seen The Wire. This is going to happen because the Saints got robbed. The prequels, blah, 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 blah. The Wire became a cult classic. Oops. Fayetteville Mafia. That's right. Fayetteville Mafia is their name. It's said in the first episode, The Boys of Summer, and now they're all fucked except Naaman. That is true. Boys of Summer. I got to admit, from the beginning of this season to the end, went in directions I never saw coming. I literally thought those kids were just going to be like a Stand By Me type, like shout out or like a reference, and they were never going to be seen again. I thought it was just like a little like side by side, like comparison to like a ghetto Stand By Me. And then we were never going to see him. Little did I know the whole season was around them, and people we knew were related, like Weebay and Cheese. It was made by people mashing together what they thought was the coolest aspects of anime. FLCL. Definitely got to check it out. I do remember. Now I want to look at it just for the sake of having nostalgic feels. Fist of the North Star. Hokuto no Ken is one of the best animes and manga of all time. Ranma 1/2 is a classic. Yeah, I definitely like Ranma. I guess you liked it, Fuzzy Dunlop. I love your name, obviously. I've told you this many times. But I feel like Ranma 1/2 gets a bad rap. I feel like people give it like, because it doesn't have the violence and like the tentacle porn and demon rape and nudity that other things have. I feel like Ranma gets a bad rap. Did you know that Ranma 1/2 was made with a magazine publication that was targeted towards young girls? I could see that. It's definitely like a cutesy, like almost made for kids type anime. They show boobs, but like it's done like innocently. And it's definitely got sexual references and sexual in nature, but I definitely could see it being made for young girls. It's definitely got that cutesy vibe, which is probably why it gets a bad rap. But I loved the aspect. I love that like most of the main characters would change to different things. And I did get I have many, many comic books. I would go to a comic book shop back when I was younger that actually had imported comics, and I would get it all the time. But I did not know that it was made for young girls, but I guess I am a young woman. The former government. I also feel like Ranma 1/2 was easily attainable when I was younger, probably for that same reason, which is also, maybe if I had the ability to watch other things, I would have gotten to other things. The former government of Maryland, Marty O'Malley, was almost copied during his move to mayor of Baltimore to governor by splitting up votes between the black Democrats in the city. All happened around the same time as the show. That's interesting. So you're saying the political aspects of the Baltimore government was dealing with the same things in the show around the same time? Yeah, because Carcetti basically got, the hell's his buddy's name? Royce and his buddy. Why am I blanking on his buddy's name? Eric? Dave? I can't remember his buddy's name. But yeah, that's actually very interesting. He got Royce and the other guy to split the vote so he could come in as like the white guy, because he still had some of the black vote too. That's very interesting, though. I like that they made a lot of like realistic connections. Wait, there are only 2 nominations. Sorry. All right, so at least there were 2 nominations, but that's still crazy to me. The Wire, I mean, like, even if like that's crazy to me that The Wire didn't get as many nominations, because if you think about it, think of like the Academy Awards. Movies like at least I've never heard of or seen get nominated all the time for like all sorts of random categories. So even if The Wire didn't have like a huge following and didn't have like as high ratings, I'm surprised like the Academy or whatever didn't like notice it for what it is. Like, there are so many shows and movies I see get nominated for things that I've never heard of, and I do stuff like this all the time. So if I haven't heard of it, you must be way under the radar. The Wire was nominated for season 3 and 5, but it was canceled after almost every season. After season 3, it was practically canceled, and even after season 4 it was, but the show was already a cult classic. I guess that's what they were saying before. There were longer breaks in between seasons because probably of thinking it was being canceled. That would make the most sense. The Wire is one of Obama's favorite shows. He said the favorite character was Omar. Somebody told me, I don't know if this is true, Shaquille, but about Barack Obama, someone told me, that he actually would have the episodes of Game of Thrones brought to his house, and he got first dibs to watch Game of Thrones before anyone else in the world. I don't know if that's true, but I heard that's how big of a fan of HBO shows he is, that he watches like every HBO show, and literally when he was president got the episodes early. But I don't know. Then I did actually, now that I remember, someone else told me that the president in general does get to view things before anyone else if he wants to deem whether they're like they should be allowed on television or something like that. I don't know. I'm totally speaking for what people told me, so I don't know if any of that's true. I don't even know if Obama likes the show or got to watch it early, but that's what I heard. Breaking Bad had the benefit of Netflix blowing up. It would have been canceled if not for Netflix. The Wire could have benefited from that. I always think of that. There's so many shows that get canceled that I loved, like Daybreak and shows, shit like that, that probably would have gotten second chances on streaming services like Netflix. Like there are so many things I would have never seen. I'm a big fan of documentaries. I have been watching, you guys let me know if any of you have seen this. I literally, because I was sick all day today, I'm feeling much better, as you could see. Thank God I have you guys to talk to. I honestly, had I not done this, would have probably still been laying in bed miserable. And I would not have, it's one of those things where I need to get out of bed and start doing things or I'm never going to get better. But all day today, I was binge watching this show on Netflix. I think it's new to Netflix because I never saw it up there before, but it's from 2013 called Scam City. It is said that all of it is unstaged and unacted. And it is a guy that each episode goes to a different location where scams are predominant, like really bad areas and bad cities and bad countries, and literally like tries to find the scam, puts himself in like the middle of the shit. He like gets almost beat up several times, gets arrested a couple times. He's like joins pickpockets and like has cops approach him because he's literally filming dudes pickpocket and stuff. I don't know how true all that is. There might be controversy on some episodes. I didn't get that far. All I know is it's on Netflix now, and I started binge watching the hell out of it. Never heard of that show in my life, but it is getting second life on Netflix because it came out 5 years ago. Never heard of it. And like 2 or 3 people I talked to this week were like, dude, there's this new show on Netflix called Scam City. And I had never said any, like never mentioned it to them. So I recommend checking out an episode or two. It is all about scam artists and con artists, and it's kind of valuable because it shows you how to avoid the scam and how to not be vulnerable too. So it's almost like a lesson, but definitely check it out. It's on Netflix. I just binge watched 10 episodes today, in and out of a coma, but like I got the most of most episodes. But yeah, The Wire and shows like that could have definitely benefited. Like I feel like Scam City could make a comeback. I also looked it up on IMDb. It got canceled after 2 seasons, started in 2013. So definitely could get second life. Breaking Bad was saved by torrent downloads, ghost audiences. Vince Gilligan even mentioned it on X-Files panel with Chris Carter. That's right. Was Vince Gilligan? He's the guy that did Breaking Bad. Did he also do X-Files? I was a monster X-Files fan back when it used to air. JoJo is cool, but it's pretty weird. A lot of people recommend JoJo to me, but I also think that's long. Isn't JoJo real long? If you end up doing a vote for the next show after you finish season 5, you should consider The Leftovers. I'm hating that I watched it, but literally a month before I started doing reaction videos, I binge watched all 3 seasons of The Leftovers. Loved the show. Wish I could have reacted to it because it is one of those shows that is great to react to. I like shows where you're like, what the hell is going on? Like Lost, who is also people that worked on Lost, worked on The Leftovers, which is why I got into it. But oh my God, Leftovers was amazing. I only wish it went longer. I feel like Leftovers is another show that they rushed through at the end. But oh my God, so good, The Leftovers. JoJo is what I also feel like the ending was like a cop out for The Leftovers. I feel that's why I feel like they rushed it. I feel like they kind of like were going in a different direction originally, and then they kind of just ended. But I love The Leftovers. Let's see here. JoJo is what happens if every character had a Superman level power with no downsides, and they're all music nerds. JoJo's Adventure you're talking about, I'm assuming. I've never seen it, but so many people recommend JoJo to me. Not that I have nothing against it. I just never got to it. Fuzzy, it was Netflix more than the torrenting. Well, let's not fight in chat, but let's say you're both right. Torrenting and Netflix. I don't know. It's probably a little both, maybe not. Got to go. Great stream. Keep it up. S. Dot. I'm sorry. You're probably gone already, but good night. Seedless Water. JoJo is a story about a family with each part is a different family member, and its appeal is on its weirdness. Oh, that's right. Someone did tell me that. Like each season, each story. Isn't each season a different like JoJo, like a different generation of JoJo or something like that? Someone did mention that to me. Vince Gilligan created Netflix several times. Oh, credited Netflix several times. You should react to JoJo opening. One guy got 150,000 views to the opening, just the opening, like the intro, or like the opening episode. JoJo spoilers also don't matter due to the journey to their being so enjoyable that the spoiler becomes meaningless as you have no possible context for how you got there. Someone told me it's like kind of time traveler-y. Is it a time travel show or is it just jumps around? Something like that. Have you ever seen Documentary Now? No, I haven't, Ray. What is that? I'm intrigued. I love documentaries. Every time a new documentary goes up on Netflix, I try to get on it. I just saw the documentary for Thanos, the girl who scammed the government out of like $1 billion in money on like the pharmaceutical thing where you could prick your finger and get all the thing you could get out of like 20 vials of blood. Crazy stuff. Have you ever seen Documentary Now? Yeah, Ray, I hope you explain that. Joey Dangerously, nope, it was Torrent. The show could have been canceled after season 1 and 2, and it wasn't even on Netflix back then. Torrent saved it and allowed AMC to make the deal with Netflix. Can you believe someone actually oh, that's the person. Have you read the manga? Oh, of JoJo. JoJo has been going for 30 years or so kind of long. Started in 1988. Gotta go. Keep up the great work. Gordon's Test Chamber. If I missed you, take care, brother. If you like shows where you're constantly asking what the fuck's going on, you might want to check out the German show Dark on Netflix. I've never heard of that either. German show. Is it subtitled, Steph, or is it like they speak English? I hate watching subtitled shows unless I'm reacting to them because I try to like shows like, I mean, is it worth reacting to, Steph, or is it just something I should watch on the side? There's only so much I can react to, so I should probably watch that on the side. I haven't seen anything JoJo outside of what Castle Super Beast mentioned. I talk about it just so fans on the series will tell me more about insane stuff like Coco Jumbo. Not sure what Coco Jumbo is. Just the openings. So I should I'll check it out. Is it that the opening is that obscure? Can you believe? Oh, he's laughing at. Can you believe someone actually, Seedless is laughing at his comment? Yeah, Seedless. Is it that the opening is that off the wall? Like I'm really intrigued. Bill Hader, Fred Armisen, Seth Meyers, John McClaney, all doing fake documentaries. What? Bill Hader and Fred Armisen. How have I not heard of this? I love all of them. Seth Meyers, kind of on the fence about. I honestly stopped liking Seth Meyers as much when he started getting so political on his late night talk show. When he did SNL and he did a Weekend Update and all that, I don't mind. I really hate when people start infusing way too much political humor. It's like, I don't mind some, but some people like focus entirely on political humor. And Seth Meyers is one of those people. And there's always so much I could take. It's like, all right, dude, we get it. Get some more material or go. It worked when he was younger. Why does he got to get so political all of a sudden? But anyway, I cannot believe that's a thing. Bill Hader, Fred Armisen, John Mulaney, all of them, those three I'm very fond of. Even though John Mulaney, I love his stand-up, but his show didn't do too well, even though I thought it was somewhat funny. But I feel like John Mulaney's one of those guys that like came in guns a-blazing and then kind of died out quick. Documentary Now is like a mockumentary anthology. One of my if you guys watch my stuff, one of my favorite movies, comedy movies of all time, is Popstar Never Stop, Never Stopping. I have watched that dozens upon dozens of times, mostly when I was really drunk. Back when it came out, I would get drunk almost every night and watch Popstar Never Stop, Never Stopping. I don't recommend you do that, but it is such a well-made mockumentary, like in the vein of Spinal Tap and all those movies. I absolutely love it. And I love me a good mockumentary. I'm trying to think of what else I saw. Like there's A Mighty Wind, Best in Show, Spinal Tap, Never Stop, Never Stopping. But like, oh my God, mockumentaries. One I saw the other day was on, it was like something about a guy making a movie. And I can't remember what the hell it was called, but it was older. It was like, shit. It was an older thing, but it was a mockumentary. It literally had me going. Like I, at several points was like, this has got to be real. Like the guy was just batshit crazy, but I think it was fake. I cannot remember the name of it. Every time an arc ends in JoJo, there's a time skip of not clear amounts. Yeah, I think that's what I remember hearing. You can watch it with subtitles or dubbed in English. Steph, is the dub good or is it one of those really bad dubs? I watched the movie The Wave on Netflix the other day. Amazing disaster movie. It was on Mojo. Watch Mojo does like top 10s. They had a top 10. I love me a disaster movie. And they had top 10 disaster movies of all time. And the movie The Wave was number 2 on their list. I had seen every movie on the list except The Wave. I never even heard of it. It is a Danish or Swedish movie on Netflix. It is dubbed, and the dubbing is horrendous. It is like, hey, look at that. What are you doing right there? Like, it is ridiculous. But luckily, it is a disaster movie, so there is very little talking, probably as little talking as could be in a movie. However, I highly recommend it. The effects and the tension, it was such a stressful, tense movie. If you don't like to be stressed out in a movie, don't watch it. But it is extremely well done. Many things I'd never seen in disaster movies before. Extremely well done movie. So if you've got Netflix, check out The Wave. I don't think you have a choice. I think you have to watch the dubbed. So just like in the beginning, there's a lot of talking because like the first 20 minutes sets it all up. After that, you don't really have to worry about the dubbing because it's mostly disaster. But I forget why I was talking about that. Oh, the dubbing. So, Steph, let me know if the dubbing is subpar because the openings are so fucking good. So there's multiple openings, very different from other anime. Seedless, is each episode a different opening or is each season have a new opening like The Wire where they change up the song? Coco Jumbo is a turtle with a whole room inside of his back as his power. He could transport people with it, and name of his power is Mr. President. That sounds very intriguing. How long is Coco Jumbo? How many seasons and episodes of that is there? John Mulaney's story about him going to the party with the antique photo was so hilarious. I love it. John Mulaney's got great stories. I rewatched his old stand-up the other night on Netflix. I was on a stand-up comedy kick. I watched the new Aziz Ansari, the new Joe Coy, the new oh my God, there's a bunch of new ones. There's a bunch. What the hell's the guy? He's got a beard now. He does all the Comedy Central roast. Gyllenhaal? No, not Gyllenhaal. Jeselnik. Anthony Jeselnik. Anthony Jeselnik. The new stand-up comedy special, amazing. Joe Coy's so many good ones. I would say Aziz Ansari's was the worst of the three, and even his was good. His just got sad at points. They were like, he was going into like some deep places, almost as if to say, like, with all that scandal that happened last year with the girl pressing sexual harassment charges and stuff on him, he was talking a lot about like dark, deep feelings. So I got it and it was good and I still dig it. I recommend it. But the others were just nonstop humor. Aziz Ansari would kind of pull you out of it from time to time and get like sad almost. I also saw Hilarity for Charity with Seth Rogen, raising money for Alzheimer's, who the person in my family who recently died just had a severe case of. So honestly watched it simply because of that. But very good stuff. Did you watch Mr. Show back in the day? Oh my God, I watched Mr. Show back in the day. I love me some Mr. Show. I think I skipped a couple because I skipped a couple comments because I just caught my eye. Mr. Show, me and my brother, I have them all the seasons on DVD. One of my favorites. Jack Black would make like a cameos before he was famous. Ben Stiller. And when you got David Cross and Better Call Saul. blanking on his name. Bob Odenkirk. Great guys. Bob Odenkirk and what the heck is I just said his name. David Cross basically built that show. Great stuff. I've watched Never Stop, Never Stopping, mostly the Andy Samberg. Spinal Tap is like the mockumentary. Did you not like it, Fuzzy Dunlop? I've watched Never Stop, Never Stop, mostly for Andy Samberg. I love Never Stop, Never Stopping. It is so amazing. I love Tim Meadows. Tim Meadows plays a great character in it. It's a regular sized turtle it's a regular sized turtle. So he has a universe in his back, a whole room inside his back. Okay, so he's a little turtle with a room in his back. Interesting. Did you ever watch Mr. Show? Mr. Show was the best sketch comedy ever. That's my brother. Yes, it was. Holy shit, I just checked. The guy who reacted to the JoJo openings has 550,000 views on the openings alone. I don't know if you already said it. I'm going to look when I get further down, but is each season a different opening or each episode? I'm still not clear on why he just watched the openings. Did he just react to them and watch the episodes after? I'm not very clear on why he would just watch all the openings. Wouldn't that ruin the show? Dare I say it, on par with Python. Oh, Mr. Show on par with Monty Python. I never was a huge Monty Python fan. I do find it funny, and I have seen most of their stuff. I just never was like huge with it. So I would definitely put Mr. Show above Monty Python. Best disaster film is probably the Poseidon Adventure. Poseidon Adventure was on their list. I haven't seen the original in so long, but the remake with Kurt Russell came on the other day, and that one isn't that great. So it kind of diminished my love for Poseidon Adventure only because I cannot remember clearly the original. I'm assuming it's great. I love old school apocalypse movies, disaster movies, like The Towering Inferno, stuff like that. Like, it's cool to see how they used to do things back in the day. Sometimes practical effects get me better. Even though it doesn't look as real, I dig me some practical effects. But I would have to say, if I had to pick best disaster movie, I'm a sucker for like Deep Impact, Volcano. Even though Volcano is like not as nearly as good effects wise as some of them, I really love Volcano. Dante's Peak with Pierce Brosnan was good in my opinion, like a guilty pleasure type good, not as nearly as impactful as the others. I really love The Day After Tomorrow. Day After Tomorrow, I love that one. Independence Day, obviously cool, but that's like a disaster movie that's fictional. I kind of dig the disaster movies that could really happen. Not that an alien invasion couldn't happen. I do believe in aliens, but you know what I mean? It's more realistic that a volcano could explode or like a meteor could hit the earth or something like that. But I love Day After Tomorrow, Volcano, Deep Impact. I would say those three. But I also grew up with them. There were much older ones that I grew up with. There was a point in the 90s, Armageddon with Bruce Willis, great one. But like that was more comedic. Like there was a lot of jokes in that, even though it had its serious moments. Very, very good. Don't get me wrong. But there was like a period in the late 90s, early 2000s where there were disaster movies coming out like left and right. And most of the ones I mentioned were in that period of time. All of them are enjoyable in my mind. Bold words about Ray saying that Mr. Show is better than Python. Faulty Towers is better than Python. What is that? Am I going to be berated for not knowing that? What is Faulty Towers? Dare I say, blah, blah, blah. Best disaster film was probably Poseidon Adventure. I'm definitely going to check out the original again, Fuzzy, because the remake, not that it was that bad. It was just kind of cheesy, not nearly as good as the others I mentioned. Definitely going to check out the original again. I'm curious now. Oh my God, I just realized I've almost been talking for 3 hours. I had no idea I was talking for that long, guys. I think it's Norwegian. You might be right. I love The Wave. I didn't watch the dub version, but I heard it was really bad. I bought it on Amazon, so I watched it subtitled. There's a sequel now too, The Quake. Really? Steph, is it out already, or they're making The Quake? Now I literally want to go watch that right now. And is it as good? That's the thing. I can't imagine they'd make a sequel unless it's one of those things where they rushed out for a money grab and it's not as good. But The Wave I thought was very impressive. If The Quake is out already, I might be watching that. Well, I don't know if I could watch it tonight because now I didn't realize how long I was talking. Anyway, you let me know about that. Faulty Towers, let me know about that. I know I'm definitely in the minority about that comment. I agree with you, Ray, only because I just wasn't a big Python fan. The humor is very unique. I dig it, but I don't love it. But I mean, it's definitely, I mean, you know what I'm saying when I say Monty Python's got a specific type of humor. And I do love it. I love The Life of Brian, Meaning of Life, Life of Brian, Holy Grail. I love them all, but it's not like my favorite type of humor. Coco Jumbo is a character in JoJo. Oh, interesting. I know. I thought that was, so it's not its own show. I thought you were saying you found out about the show Coco Jumbo from JoJo. Interesting. So Coco is just a character. I was honestly probably going to go look where the hell Coco Jumbo is. I know I'm definitely in the minority. Each season has 1 or 2 openings each season, but part 4 has 4 openings. All right. So there's 2 openings per season plus, and part 4 has 4 openings. So I'm assuming how many seasons? You guys are saying 20 to 30 years it's been around, but how many seasons are there? I'm assuming a lot. I saw a bit of the dub version of Dark. It wasn't as bad as the Wave. I might check out Dark then, because that's something I can't react to everything, even though I want to. So maybe I'll check out the Dark tonight, because it's not a movie. Maybe I'll catch an episode tonight, Steph. Very intriguing though. Yeah, I love like what's in the box, what the fuck type kind of movies, Lost type things. I don't mind if you give me 1,000 questions and only one answer. And then when you give me that one answer, I have 1,000 more questions. As long as you sum it up right. One of my huge things with Lost is they did not sum up a lot of important things. The whole Walt thing, the whole I thought the ending was rushed and they kind of weren't going that direction to begin with, stuff like that. But as a whole, I've accepted it, and going back and having watched it many times, I'm okay with the way Lost ended. Anthony Jeselnik had a great show on Comedy Central called The Jeselnik Offensive. I agree. Can you believe someone actually said Anthony Jeselnik's show? That was a great show. I feel like Anthony Jeselnik gets a bad rap because people think the character he plays is real, and the character he plays is a total piece of shit douchebag. Like, he talks about, I mean, it's dark humor. He gets into dark shit. If you watch his stand-up, there's a new stand-up on Netflix, very funny, but it is dark humor. He talks about like fucking his brother and like getting molested and killing children and stuff like that. But if you can take yourself out of reality and know that he is joking, then it's extremely funny stuff. It's just that kind of humor, kind of like in the vein of Sarah Silverman, where Sarah Silverman gets raunchy and dirty and stuff like that. Like, he's just a dirty, violent comedian. But if you go into it expecting that and you're like, I know this is like a good dude on the surface, like I've seen him in other things and he's probably a really nice guy. That's just his type of humor. And I could see people not liking it. Don't get me wrong. If you don't like that kind of humor, I'm not like, what's wrong with you? I just grew up in rough areas and like grew up in a way where like that sort of stuff like bounces off me like Teflon. Like, it doesn't bother me. I don't get me wrong. The things he says, I don't want, like I in real life, I don't want to happen and stuff like that. It is horrible, dark shit. But if you look at it in the context of humor and joking, I think he's a funny dude. Like Nick Swardson. If you like, I compared Anthony Jeselnik like Nick Swardson. Nick Swardson has a totally fucked up sense of humor. If you watch Nick Swardson, like he had that show, like Bedtime Stories with Nick Swardson. He had a Comedy Central show, and it got canceled after like season 1. I love Nick Swardson. I think he is utterly hilarious. But the show, even I was like, oh my God, the skits went way too far. Like, some of it just went far for the sake of shock factor, like never made sense. So those kind of shows I don't like. But like Nick Swardson did have a sketch here or there in that show that he did. Can't remember the name of it, but most of them were just way over the top and insane for no reason other than to be insane. There also, another one I like too was Nathan For You. Nathan For You, the guy that plays Nathan, has such a dry sense of humor and is such a wacky dude, but I dug it. He was also the limo driver in I think the Seth Rogen Christmas movie, The Night Before. I could be thinking of the wrong thing, but I'm pretty sure The Night Before, Nathan was the limo driver. He's got just such like a dry, monotone sense of humor. I love it. But Nathan For You got canceled too. I think for legal reasons because they got sued because of like the Starbucks skit that he did or something. I don't mind Jeselnik. Where'd it go? I just scrolled down, damn it. I don't mind Jeselnik, but his jokes are very repetitive and predictable. He's kind of all over the place. I will give you that, Fuzzy Dunlop. Most of the time, having watched him enough, I know exactly where he's going because if you watch him for the first time, he'll get you on every one. But if you've watched Anthony Jeselnik, you know he's going dark. So if he's saying something like where you're like in the back of your head, like that could get dark, you know it's going dark because it's Anthony Jeselnik. So I 100% agree with Fuzzy Dunlop on that matter. You're my age, just realized. Remember the show Small Wonder? Yes, my brother probably already commented on it somewhere down there. Small Wonder. When I grew up, I had a crush on Vicky. Yes, I even remember her name, Vicky, because I had such a crush on Vicky the robot. Don't ask me why. She was a robot. You would rip her back panel off and they would like reprogram her to be like the daughter and like whatever. But I watched it all the time. Huge fan of Small Wonder. Me and my brother were actually looking at old theme songs, like unappreciated movies. And I cannot remember the name of the show, but the theme song was, would you like to swing on a star, carry moonbeams home in a jar? And it was like what the heck was the name of the show? It might even be called Swinging on a Star. I don't think it was. Me and my brother were talking about it the other day. No one ever talks about that show. It was like, I don't even remember what it's about. Was it like her father, I think, died, but was like an alien from outer space and would leave her recordings or something? No one ever talks about that show. Same with Small Wonder. I never hear anybody bring that up. Huge fan of Small Wonder. No, just openings, not the spoilery. Wait a bit spoilery, but you forget if you... So you're saying the openings won't really spoil anything. I might do that then. I'm interested now. Did he have one video that showed all the openings in a row in one video, or did like a video for like different openings? I'm assuming the openings can't be longer than like a minute. So I'm assuming he watched them all in one go. Is Poseidon Adventure the one about the cruise liner that flipped? Yeah, that's Poseidon. If someone didn't already say it, Poseidon Adventure is the cruise liner that flips. Anime shows change openings every season, so usually they have 2 different openings and 2 different closing credits every season, unless a season is 12 to 13 episodes. I guess I wouldn't know that. Yeah, did Ranma? I think Ranma 1/2 did have different openings each season. Fawlty Towers is one of the greatest British sitcoms ever. I've never heard of it. Is it old? Faulty? I've never even heard of it, and I feel like I would have because of the way you spell it is different. Oh, Ray's right. Cloverfield, definitely one of my favorite disaster movies. But like Independence Day, I'd put Cloverfield in more of like an alien, like horror type disaster movie, as opposed to like your like national disasters. Still curious if Steph told me about I see she did down here, so I'm gonna read that soon. Never heard of Fawlty Towers. Yeah, neither have I. Are you a Mystery Science Theater 3? My brother, massive History Science Theater 3000 fan. I used to watch episodes with him from time to time, but I just never got into it. I saw like a movie or something came out like a year or 2 ago. I never watched it. I just never, or like maybe new episodes of the show came out, something like that. I just never got into it, never hated on it. And now being like a reactor, maybe I should give it a go because that's kind of what they do. They do like commentaries and reactions. Excuse me. John Cleese of Monty Python was in Fawlty Towers. Really? Was it? Then I'm assuming it's older then, unless John Cleese did it much later. Does Cloverfield count? An alien? Yeah, that's what I just said. An alien you hardly ever see causes destruction. I definitely loved Cloverfield. I love I even liked the last Cloverfield. What was the last one called? Cloverfield. There was 12 Cloverfield Lane. And then there was the one that got launched on Super Bowl night that I watched immediately. I even like that one. Granted, it was the worst of the 3, and it was definitely odd. And like people thought it was a total like cop-out cash grab that the monster like jumps out at the end or whatever. But I still enjoy that universe. I love J.J. Abrams stuff, if you didn't notice. Fawlty Towers is a British show. It really is known only in the UK. I bought The Quake on Amazon and watched it. It was very enjoyable. I don't think it was quite as good as The Wave, but it's well worth watching. Amazing. I might do that tonight. I don't have time, and I don't have time tomorrow. See, there's too many things, but The Quake, definitely on my list, Steph. Steph, you always come up with some gems. You introduced me to something last time, too, and I'm pretty sure I watched it and loved it. I can't remember what it was because I watched so much, but Steph always has good recommendations. Without spoiling anything, Steph, does The Quake revolve around the same family as The Wave? Because that would be like a John McClane type thing. Like, are they just never in the right place at the right time? And is The Quake based off of like a real thing that could happen like The Wave? Because I'm pretty sure they said The Wave could really happen. Like, it's like one of those things like Yellowstone has a volcano at the bottom, and they said it won't erupt for thousands of years, but it might. There's a movie coming out about that, I think. Didn't I just see that? I think last night I saw a trailer reaction for a movie about Yellowstone volcano exploding. I could be wrong about that, though. I'm not sure. But let me know, Steph, if The Quake is based on something that could really happen, like a real facility or town. Fawlty Towers is old school. Used to watch that on PBS many years ago. Fawlty Towers. I love British sitcoms. Now, are you saying it's a British sitcom like Monty Python? Or is it like Misfits? Because Misfits is British, and those are two totally different types of humor. I dig the Misfits British stuff. Shameless, stuff like that. The British Shameless. There was another British show I used to watch too. Oh, The Office. The British Office, the British Shameless, stuff like that. Or is it like Monty Python British humor? Is Fawlty Towers the one with Hugh Laurie before House? Oh my God. If that is what you're talking about, then I do know what you're talking about. I do remember a British show with Hugh Laurie before House, but I didn't know the name of it. Reno 911 was funny too. Definitely saw Reno 911. Watched it all the time. Nick Schwartzen was the roller prostitute or whatever. Nope, that was a Black Adder, which is also great. All right, that's the Hugh Laurie one. That I haven't seen either, but I definitely remember seeing that. Nathan For You was so great. I couldn't believe he got away with dumb Starbucks. I couldn't believe. Oh, you couldn't believe he got away with dumb Starbucks. I think it was dumb Starbucks that were one of those that got him banned, and that's why they canceled the show. I think something happened with, like, even though like they couldn't do anything, liability reasons or something. I could be wrong about that, Ray, but I could have sworn Out of This World. That's Would You Like to Swing on a Star theme song. It's a 80s TV show called Out of This World. But anyway, back to Nathan For You. Nathan For You, I'm almost positive got canceled for Oh, maybe it was the pig thing. When he had like a fake path underwater, and they were pretending the pig was saving a drowning goat or something, but it was fake. Maybe it was that one. Something got him in trouble. Hey, I brought up Small Wonder earlier in the comments. What, did someone bring it up again? Or are you just repeating it, Joey? I'm running down them. I am coming down. So I'm assuming you're talking about that. But yes, I do remember Small Wonder. Vicky the Robot. How many seasons was that on? I feel like it was on a while, but I was also really young. So maybe it was like one season and got canceled. Hey, I brought up Small Wonder late to the stream, but has anyone suggested Dark yet? Warrior, are you still in here? Sorry, it took me a while to get down. I hope you didn't leave. I hate when I don't get down quick enough and then people think I'm ignoring them. But Dark was suggested by Steph earlier, and I might watch an episode tonight. She said it is dubbed and subtitled. Either way. But the dubbed isn't too bad. I might just watch the dubbed. Great show. 1970s. What is 1970s? Black Adder is 1970s. Hugh Laurie back then. Damn, that's older than I thought. Dark was already brought up. All right, so at least you told. Cloverfield is more of a found footage monster movie than a disaster movie. I also recommend The Host as a best Fuzzy Dunlop, I watched that the other day. Took me a while. I'm not even kidding you. I watched The Host in Japanese. Or whatever it is. Is it Japanese, Korean? I don't know. But there was no subtitles and it wasn't dubbed. But I heard such good things about it. The only copy I could get a hand on was the original version, not dubbed or subtitled. And it was such a good movie that I literally just read like a synopsis while I watched it. Like I wouldn't jump ahead. It would be like 10 minutes in, this is what happened. And I literally read a synopsis and tried to read their body language and interpret what they were saying because I heard such good things about the host. And I got all the way through it. So put it this way, it must have been a good movie because I watched it all the way through with not knowing a single thing these people were saying. And it was great CGI for like a small production budget. Would it be cool to see you react to The Leftovers as well? Warrior, I already said earlier, I've literally binge watched all 3 seasons of The Leftovers about a month before I started reacting. So I did love it, but I've already seen it. If we talking about best monster, I got to bring up Frankencastle. I'm sorry that I made that face, but I don't know what you're talking about. Frankencastle. The Quake focuses on the same family that was in The Wave, not in the same place. It takes place in a city of Oslo. Very interesting. I'm happy to see that because I did like that family. I didn't like the son, though. Not to spoil anything if you haven't seen The Wave. I won't say any spoilers, but the son really annoyed me in The Wave. But it served a purpose, so to speak. Faulty Towers and old Britcoms are much like Monty Python, but in a different, but definitely better. Small Wonder was 4 seasons, really. 96 episodes. Oh my God, I cannot believe there was that. That makes sense because I remember watching a lot of it, but damn, I can't believe there was that many. Oops. Oh, I guess that was an accident. Snuff Box, another great British comedy in the same vein. I think you told me about that before, Ray. It sounds familiar. Oh, 10 seasons. Seedless is saying there's 10 seasons of JoJo, I'm assuming. The dub isn't terrible, but I've heard a lot of people say it's better with the German audio. Starts kind of slow, but really picks up after 4 or 5 episodes. Lots of mystery. I don't know if I asked this before when Steph brought it up. I assume you're talking about Dark, obviously, because it says German. How many seasons are there? And is it done? Or is it new and still going? The host is Korean. I thought it was either Japanese or Korean. Fabulous movie. Great monster flick. If you guys didn't know, when I was hyped up for Godzilla, which I was not a huge fan of, didn't hate it, but the new Godzilla King of Monsters, I thought the fights were great. I thought the monsters were great, but I thought they teased a little too much in the trailers saying 17 monsters, and then like flashing all this stuff. And then you literally see like the 5 main ones, but then towards the end, you get like a little 5-second shot of like 3 out of the 17 other monsters, and 2 of them we've already seen before. So I thought that was a little bit of a cheap move. I still did like it. I thought they focused too much on the people aspect, but I like Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. So whatever. It wasn't the worst thing, but definitely not on my list. I thought Godzilla, if you've watched my trailer reactions and movies and stuff like that, Godzilla was in my top 3 most hyped films. Endgame, Star Wars, and Godzilla were my top 3. If you count television, Game of Thrones was in there, and we all know how that turned out. What the hell? Why did 80s sitcoms have tons of episodes crammed into very few seasons? Can you believe someone actually, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? Because I'm not making fun or anything, but I am used to a world where 20, 30 episode seasons was normal. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. It was very normal to have 20 to 30 episodes in a season of television. Like even up until Lost, which was their early 2000s, they had 20 plus episodes for the first several seasons. Once season 4 came along, the writer's strike happened. And I honestly feel this may have been talked about by people. I've never heard much about it, but I feel like the writer's strike caused seasons to get smaller, like 10 or 12 episodes. That could have been proven already. I just know nothing about it. I'm just saying my opinion is that after the writer's strike, television shows got ridiculously shorter. And we saw that in Lost. Season 4 had like 17 episodes. Season 5 and season 6 were the same thing. They didn't have 20 plus episode seasons like they used to. So I'm just curious how old you are, because I'm assuming maybe you grew up in the age of streaming and stuff like that, where after the writer's strike. Possible not. I don't know. Oops, again to Britcoms. Number 5, Father Ted. Number 4, Black Adder. Number 3, Space. 2, Faulty Towers. 1, The In-Betweeners. I hear a lot of people bring up The In-Betweeners. Who's famous in that? There's a reason people bring it up to me all the time. I feel like it's someone famous that's in it, but let me know, why is The In-Betweener? Why would I know The In-Betweeners? Because people have recommended that. I have a Java upload update. Dumb Starbucks was actually too successful and making so much money that he had to stop before it grew out of control. So they stopped the show because of success? I thought it was something bad. Bong Joon-ho's films are so good. I really wanted to. Why do I feel like there's too many spaces in there somewhere? It looks like it's 3 different things. Bong Joon-ho's films are very good. I really wanted to see his Cannes film Parasite. Parasite. Did I see that? I feel like I've definitely heard good things about that. Or could I have seen that? Just won the Palma. Oh, more people are talking about it. Let me see. Frankencastle is when the Punisher was killed and brought back to life like Frankenstein, and his name was Frank. I was going to say, I was like, as I'm saying Frankencastle, I'm like, why does that sound familiar? I'm thinking Frank Castle, but my air conditioner I just turned off if it got quiet. But is that in the comics? Why are we bringing up Frankencastle? Was that like was there a television show or something done on Frankencastle, or are you just bringing it up for the sake of talk? Because I love Punisher. I love Frank Castle. Haven't seen the new Punisher TV show. Believe it or not, the Punisher is one of my favorite Marvel characters. Love, even though a lot of people don't like it, the Thomas Jane version with John Travolta. I love that version. I also love the other ones. Some are really violent. The Dolph Lundgren one was really cheesy in the 80s, but I love them all. Big fan of the character. I just never got around to watching the Punisher on Netflix. I've seen Jessica Jones. I've seen Luke Cage. I've seen Iron Fist. I've seen all the Daredevils. I've seen everything except I haven't seen the latest season of Jessica Jones. I haven't seen, and I've not seen any of the Punisher. Maybe react to that at some point. I don't know though, because they're canceling all the Marvel shows. Is it worth watching, guys? The Punisher? All right, what do we got here? The host is Korean. It's by Bong. Oh, that's who wrote the host. Okay, who just won the Palme d'Or at Cannes Film with Parasite. Okay, so I probably didn't see Parasite then, correct? I'm assuming if he just won at Cannes, that I couldn't have seen it, or is it available? And is the Parasite? I feel like I've seen it. Is it a horror flick or is it a monster flick or both? No, not 10 accidentally. It has 5 seasons, but the manga has 8 parts. Oh, okay. Dark has 2 seasons, both on Netflix. They're making a 3rd, and I think that will be the last. All right. Maybe what I'll do is maybe I'll check out season 1, since I have way too much stuff to watch anyway, and I haven't really heard much about this. Maybe I'll watch season 1, and if it's really crazy, I'll react to season 2 and 3. But I'll probably watch an episode tonight after I do this. I have been talking for over 3 hours. So if you guys need to go, I understand. I'm probably going to end it somewhat soon because honestly, I did not plan on talking that long. If you guys remember my other live streams, we'd always end up talking for like 2 or 3 hours and it would fly by. Time flies when I do these things, but I appreciate that a lot of you have stayed in here. I'm still going to run through. I'm going to try to catch up to the bottom. And as long as I keep getting comments, I'll keep talking. Eventually, I know I do have to go to sleep. So we'll see what happens. We'll go for at least another 30 minutes and see. But here we go. JoJo's got 8 parts. Dark has almost 3 seasons. I want to watch Dark now. Sealess, have you seen Dark? Stephanie is very persistent. Stephanie has very good recommendations, though. That's why I'm very intrigued. I'm assuming Seedless, you have not seen Dark because you're saying that you want to watch it. I started Dark, was vaguely interested in it, and then it was completely hooked in the 3rd episode. All right, so it starts a little slow. You said how many episodes a season, Steph? I think you might have said that, but in case you didn't, have you seen Mr. Robot yet? One of the best shows right now, in my opinion. Warrior saw season one, never saw the rest. Loved it, and I think that was around when I didn't have cable, so I stopped watching it, and then I never caught back up. Is it still going, or did they end Mr. Robot? I know they were in at least season 3 or 4. I have only seen season one, and I completed season one. So I saw up and through season one. Very good show. I really, really did enjoy it. But I'm not sure if it's still running or not. And I would love to react to that. I'm not giving an exact date or anything, but I can't drink. Okay. See, I wasn't making fun of you or anything. Can't believe someone actually, but I am 37, almost 38. And growing up through the early 2000s, up until like 2005, I'd say, television shows had 20 to 30 episode seasons. That was completely normal. If you go like look at Friends and Seinfeld and like big major television shows, there wasn't huge breaks like they have nowadays. And it wasn't like Netflix where they dropped the season at once. I'm sure you know that. But I am used to the days of 20 plus episodes, like Quantum Leap, one of my favorite shows of all time. I was thinking Quantum Leap is so popular. Like, I mean, so I love Quantum Leap so much that so many reactors react to Lost. I was thinking about there's a girl that has a channel called Movie Nights. She does Bay watching. I have literally binge watched every episode of her show. I never used to watch Baywatch as a kid. It would be on channel 11 all the time in reruns, and I would catch parts here and there, but I never watched it. There's a girl on Movie Nights. I mean, yeah, her channel's called Movie Nights, does what's called Baywatching, and she does like a commentary of every episode of Baywatch. Baywatch is already hysterically like comedic. It's like one of those like dramas like Beverly Hills 90210 and stuff like that, but like done horribly, like for almost intentionally. Like it's very funny. David Hasselhoff, obviously, but she literally goes through and picks out all the best parts and does commentary. And she is so obsessed with it that she literally like shows like, oh, this is going to happen and this happens and this happened in the background. She gives you like backgrounds on all the characters and stuff. She is also a huge fan of Quantum Leap, but it gave me the idea. She doesn't do it with Quantum Leap. She talks about certain aspects of Quantum Leap, but she does Baywatching where she watches all of Baywatch. I was thinking, because I love Quantum Leap so much and no one talks about Quantum Leap or reacts to Quantum Leap, I was thinking about doing something similar to what she does, not doing like a commentary of the episode, but almost like doing my reactions like I do to television, but reacting to Quantum Leap, because I haven't watched it in a while and I have all 5 seasons, I think it is, on Blu-ray. And I haven't watched it in years. I was thinking about doing a reaction because it's one of those things where like I know what's happening. So I have watched it many, many times and I don't see anybody else doing that. And since I've fallen into this like niche of doing older shows, I want to enjoy what I'm doing as well. And I'm still going to do the newer stuff. Don't get me wrong. But I was thinking of like maybe like once a week or once every now and then throwing up like an episode of Quantum Leap. And even though I've seen it, doing like a commentary, because I've seen them so much and I know so much about them and stuff like that. I was thinking about maybe doing that. You guys let me know what you think of that. I am openly admitting I've seen it many times through. So it isn't like I'm trying to trick you. And obviously, when you see it, you would know I'm not tricking you. But I just thought that'd be fun. And I really enjoy the Baywatch one she does. So let's go. Now I'm way behind. So what do we got here? My family was, oh my God. I went way back. Bop, 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 bop. All right, let me do some rapid fire talking here. I want to watch Dark now. Blah, blah, blah. We saw all that. Mr. Robot, I saw that. I'm not giving an exact date. We saw that. Reviewers say that Dark is much like Stranger Things. What's your take on it? If it's like Stranger Things, I definitely want to see it. And the fact that I could binge watch it without having to worry about edits. My family was poor growing up, so I missed a lot of TV due to lack of cable, and I only barely started streaming stuff. Oh, well, I'm sorry about that. I feel your pain. When I was younger, I was kind of in the same boat. Grew up in Newark and didn't have a whole lot of money. Me and my brother shared a bedroom most of the time. Another hidden gem I got to bring up is the Nick. Finished too soon with 2 seasons, but really good. The Nick. What is that about? What is that on? Never heard of that. The Nick. It makes me think of the Knicks, like the New York Knicks. Dark and Stranger Things have a few basic story elements that are the same, but other than that, I don't think they are much alike. All right, so I'm assuming we got some sci-fi. Steph, without ruining too much, is it based in the 80s like Stranger Things or just like similar elements story-wise? I'm curious if it's like an 80s nostalgia, because if that's the case, you've got me on all ends. I love me some 80s nostalgia, and that's why I love Stranger Things. The In-Betweeners have Simon Bird, Joe Thomas, James Buckley, who is now a YouTuber, and Blake Harrison. It released in 2010. Maybe that's why I've heard of it, because it's somewhat new. Someone brought up Best Monsters, and I had to bring up a gun-toting Frankenstein. By the way, the Punisher video game is the only game to be banned in the US due to the violence. Is heavily censored. Which Punisher game is that? Was that an older game or a newer game? Interesting. Sorry, I'm like envisioning Frankencastle. Quick comment. Well, good night, I guess. Oh, C-List is gone. C-List, if you left, or are you still here? Have a good night. Thanks for all the chats. You've been in this here with me like 3 hours. Dear Lord, good for you. I appreciate it. People are 50-50 with it being a good episode or a cringy episode. Oh, I missed. Oh, I totally just jumped ahead. Hold up, guys. Where am I? Okay. Well, good night. First season of Dark has 10 episodes. Second season has 8. All right, good. So it's a quick watch. Parasite is a drama with a lot of black humor. The Blu-ray is coming out in October. All right, definitely going to check that out. Dark is 10 episodes first season, 8 episodes, blah, blah, blah. Mr. Robot is ending with the 4th season this fall. The second and third were amazing. I honestly might make that a priority. If season 4, if you're saying, where do you rank season 1? Because I loved season 1. I'm curious where you rank season 1 as far as 2 and 3 go. Because if 2 and 3 are as good or better than season 1, I'm very excited for it. And if it's ending in season 4 and season 4 is coming out in the fall, I might make that show a priority just so I could catch up and watch it live weekly. And I'm assuming it's still on, what channel? Was that Lifetime? Was it on Lifetime or A&E? I can't remember. Night Watermelon, you out? I guess he left. Have you seen the Quantum Leap episode of It's Always Sunny? I had to have, but why don't I remember that? The Quantum Leap episode of Always Sunny. Remind me. I'm very disappointed if I don't remember that. Dude, I love Quantum Leap. Did we just become best friends? Quantum Leap is my shit. If I had to see, there's different rankings for me. If I had to rank best top 10 shows of all time, it would be different than top 10 shows rewatchability wise. I've said this before about movies too. There are certain movies that I know are the greatest of all time, but there are certain movies that I know are lesser that I'd much rather watch. Quantum Leap is one of those shows where I could watch it a million times. I will literally just throw on an episode occasionally and like watch it, but I haven't done it in a very long time. And it got me reminded because this girl that has the Movie Nights channel was talking about how there was footage recently found of the original ending of Quantum Leap. There is an original ending of Quantum Leap. And I'm not kidding you. I think it was like a couple months ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. She talks about Quantum Leap so much that some studio or a fan or something sent her a copy of like canned footage that never released of the original ending, where it shows that like, oh, I'm not going to ruin it if you guys haven't seen it, but it literally shows the original ending of Quantum Leap, or at least part of what was supposed to be the original ending. So it got me thinking, like, no one reacts to the show. It is so great. Reminds me a lot of Sliders. If Jerry O'Connell, no one talks about Sliders. Sliders was such an amazing, like, alternate reality show. Like, everyone is so freaked out about like Endgame with like Marvel with alternate universes and stuff. They've been doing alternate universes since the 80s and beyond that. I mean, like way past that. But like Quantum Leap, like Sliders, literally the whole show was based off of alternate universes. And like everyone, like not everyone, but a lot of people act like Marvel's the game changer because they like introduce alternate realities or they combine universes or something like that. This shit's been going on forever. Shows like Quantum Leap and Sliders do not get the appreciation they deserve. But how do you feel about Rick and Morty being picked up for 70 episode? Yep, I saw that. I have not seen the trailer. I if you guys just got in here, I was very sick all day. I actually called out of work. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I did have a beer. I had a really tall beer, like a 30-ounce beer at the movies last night. Whenever I go to the movies, it's probably the only time I enjoy a alcoholic beverage. I used to drink all the time, don't anymore. But when I go to the movies, I like to have a beer. So I go to the dine-in theater. They gave me a 30-ounce beer. All I know is I woke up today at like 7 a.m, excruciating pain, and called out of work. And I was dead till about 7:30 this tonight, like 12 hours, excruciating pain. And then I was like, I got to do that live stream. And I kind of dragged myself out, almost canceled it because I was miserable. But as you can see, I'm doing much, much better. I can't help but think it was the beer. That's all I had. All I had last night was a can of Progresso soup that was canned. And I eat that all the time, and a beer at the movies. So I don't know. Maybe my beer was tainted. But all I know is I don't know what I was just talking about. But anyway, yes, I don't know why I went on that rant. But it had something to do with me being sick today. Oh, I didn't watch the trailer to Rick. I saw there's a Rick and Morty footage, new Terminator footage, the Walking Dead trailer I still haven't seen. Creep Show is coming out with a 10 or 12 episode television show exclusively on Shudder. Haven't seen that trailer. And there was like one more big one. Maybe that was it. Walking Dead, Terminator. Oh, The Witcher. Someone and Seedless Watermelon Guy said that he went over and watched it in between us doing this talk and said it was amazing. My cousin said it was amazing. Lots of good things I heard. So I got a lot to react to as far as that. I'm not going to do it tonight. It's not enough time. But Rick and Morty was one of those shows that I did not watch till I think last year, maybe the year before. I didn't watch it season 1 and 2. My sister loved it, obsessed with it. And she will be reacting to the new season with me. That is one show she will react with me. So you will see new episodes of Rick and Morty when it comes out with me and my sister. One of the few shows we watch that together. So anyway, what was I saying? So Rick and Morty, I didn't watch the first 2 seasons. She was obsessed with it. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of animation. I've told you this many times. I do watch it, but I don't know. Animation is just like my least favorite content. So I kept putting off Rick and Morty. Having watched it, Rick and Morty is so amazingly good. The fact that they like actually connect the episodes and like it's an intelligent and smartly written show. The guy that does Community, I binge watched Community a couple years ago. Love Community. I know some of the episodes get bad towards the end. Chevy Chase leaves, stuff like that. But I love me Community. Love me Rick and Morty. I did not see the new footage or the trailer though for the new season. Got to do that after this. But I will definitely 100% be watching and reacting to the Rick and Morty episodes that air. Very curious to see where they're going with that. It is such a smart show. People are 50-50 with it being a good episode of cringy. People are 50-50. Oh, about Always Sunny. I'm trying to think of what episode that was. Steph or anybody in the comments, do you know what episode of Always Sunny was a Quantum Leap one? I don't remember that. I know as soon as someone says it, I'll remember. Can you believe? I'd imagine no one talks about Quantum Leap because the end is so sad as shit. Yeah, basically. But I feel like, see, Quantum Leap, I feel like the ending fizzled like Lost. Sorry to keep bringing up Lost, but it's my favorite. And Quantum Leap is probably in my top 5 of all time. Both had very like rushed endings and I dislike them, but I still watch Lost all the time and I still watch Quantum Leap all the time. I just feel like it got totally unappreciated. If you haven't seen Chernobyl yet, get on that ASAP. Perfect miniseries to react to if you haven't. I've been meaning to get on Chernobyl. I was literally going to do Chernobyl the week Stranger Things 3 dropped. Forgot Stranger Things 3 dropped. I was going to binge watch Chernobyl and get that out there. Lots of reactors reacting to Chernobyl. That was the other reason. I mean, not that a lot aren't reacting to Stranger Things, but I really want to watch Stranger Things. Chernobyl is like something I don't know much about, so it's like I could put it on the back burner, but I 100% will be reacting to Chernobyl. HBO is like my thing. That's apparently what I do, so I cannot not watch Chernobyl. I think there's 5 episodes. Might be wrong. There's either 4 or 5 episodes of Chernobyl. I think each one's an hour, so it's not too hard of a watch. But I did hear very good things. Yes, Quantum Leap. I totally watched that. Maybe I'll do that. I might do that. I might end up not anytime soon, but at some point when I'm done with The Wire and I've caught up on Deadwood and everything else is running smoothly, I might start throwing up episodes of Quantum Leap and doing like watch-alongs, edit them down like I do with the 3 parts, but having basically it'll be a rewatch because I haven't seen that in forever. And I feel like I said, with Lost, I could do it, but there's so many reactors doing Lost that I'm okay with it being out there for people to see. I feel like Quantum Leap needs some love. Maybe I'll do it with Sliders too. If Quantum Leap is successful, maybe I'll do Sliders too, because those are 2 science fiction shows that I feel like are way underappreciated and no one knows about. The guy who wrote the superhero movie wrote Chernobyl. Are you serious? The superhero movie, the one, the horrible comedy. I cannot believe that. That is not something you want on your resume, but Chernobyl is. It's so strange for me to watch TV shows without 22 to 23 episodes, unless they're HBO shows. TV used to keep people company throughout the entire year. I love the fact that online has full seasons. Orville, does it really? Orville has a full 22 to 23 episodes slate? I did not know that. I've only seen the first 2 or 3 episodes of Orville. Thought it was great. Just too much stuff. The Nick had Caitlin Olsen in it, right? Which one is Caitlin Olsen? Is that Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen? Like them? Caitlin Olsen. Why does that sound familiar? The Nick is about surgeons in the early 1900s. Main character deals with an opioid addiction too, from what I remember. Pretty dark show. The Nick. So they mean like the Nick, like if you nick an artery? Is that why they got the name? That's the Mick. Oh, the Mick. The Mick is with the girl from Always Sunny. I watched the whole season of that. I don't think it got renewed. Oh, yeah. LOL. Oh, Caitlin Olsen. That's the girl from Always Sunny. I knew the name. The Punisher video game was on the PlayStation 2, so it's been a while. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about then, because I do remember that. I thought maybe you meant a newer game came out, and I'm like, I don't recall that. The singing episode with the guy from Quantum Leap. Scott Bakula? How do I not remember this? The musical where people see them as black. Oh my God. Yes. Season 12, episode 1. Okay. Yes. I'd rank Mr. Robot best to worst. 3, 1, 2. Season 2 was a little slower and some think it fell off, but I felt like it was just about as strong as season 1. All right. Well, you're saying, but 3 is the best. So that's promising. It's USA. That's right. Who remembers USA Up All Night with Gilbert Gottfried? I literally wish there was a channel where I could watch old school horror movies late at night with Gilbert Gottfried and the original USA Up All Night. And then they had that girl with the incredibly large fake boobs. I think I was like 12 years old. I was probably too young to even be watching this stuff, but it was censored, mostly Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, your 80s classics. And they would have USA Up All Night with the giant big boobed girl and Gilbert Gottfried. And she would be like, USA Up All Night. And Gilbert Gottfried would do his annoying voice. And he would just like, oh my God, why can't I have a TV channel of 24 hours of Gilbert Gottfried introducing horror movies? That's what I want in my life. It was on USA. That's why I thought of it. Because USA is the channel Mr. Robot's on. One of the many things I forget. Like if you guys watched my Cats trailer reaction, I immediately, when I heard the song, thought back to Cats on Broadway commercials on Channel 11. What was it? PBIX? I think it was PBIX. WPIX New York. Maybe it was WPIX New York. And they would constantly have commercials for Cats on Broadway. And I remember when it finally went off of Broadway, they had like, this is your last chance to see Cats on Broadway. And I was like, I almost feel like I have to see Cats on Broadway because I've seen so many commercials, but I never did. Never saw it on Broadway. I saw the televised Broadway show. Have you seen Fargo? Warrior, I have not seen Fargo. A lot of people suggesting it. I do own the first 2 seasons on Blu-ray, so that will happen at one point. Dark and Stranger Things both take place in a small town that has a lot of secrets. You have a few kids and some adults trying to figure things out. It's definitely a sci-fi show. I don't know what to say too much more because I'm afraid I'll let something slip that won't ruin it. All right, Steph, I feel you. Do not spoil it. How long are the episodes? 30 minutes, hour long, or in the middle? Are they 45? Were there commercials? Was this aired on a television so that it was commercials that's like 45 minutes, or was this a streaming service? I'm asking you specifics because I just want to know how much time I'm dealing with episode-wise. I've seen that ending, I think, back in the day. I love Sliders at the time. I wonder if it holds up. That's the only thing, Ray. I recently went back to an episode of Sliders. I think it was on some weird like channel, and it does not hold up. A lot of the episodes of Sliders look like, now don't get mad at me if you're a big fan of Doctor Who. I've never seen Doctor Who, but I watched one episode once, and the reason I couldn't get into it was because the special effects and the practical effects in Doctor Who looked horrendous to me. And I was like, I can't take this seriously. And like, I don't know, eventually I will watch Doctor Who because my brother actually loves it. And so does my sister. And people told me that like you get used to it and stuff like that. And it does get better, but I couldn't deal with the crappy special effects and the practical effects. And Sliders reminds me of that. If you go back and watch old episodes of Sliders, did not age well. Whereas Quantum Leap aged extremely well. When I go back to Quantum Leap, it doesn't bother me at all because they didn't extend themselves the limits, basically. They didn't like Sliders did crazy shit. Quantum Leap stayed within Scott Bakula's timeline, or Sam Beckett. It stayed within his time life. They explained that he can only leap within his own time life. Now, granted, he does at some points alter that, like that changes, but not a lot. It happens a few times, and there's reasons for it. So for the most part, they can't go like 1,000 years in the future or the past to dinosaurs, so they don't need crazy special effects or practical effects. But Sliders did not age well. I don't want to say too much, but read that. What are the rules when you've just turned back and you won't turn back? Well, we've got to go find out the rules. What are the rules? What is that from, C-List? That's a quote, I think. What are the rules? You should watch the old school Twilight Zone. If you haven't, you would love them. Joey, if you look on my channel, I forget if it got taken off. It might have gotten taken off, but I was starting to react to original episodes of the Twilight Zone that I haven't seen, and they were getting banned constantly. It was right around when the new Twilight Zone dropped, and I found out CBS owned the rights to Twilight Zone. They were immediately flagging them. I'm willing to bet it had a lot to do with the new Twilight Zone dropping. So maybe they boosted their algorithms or something, but I did react to one episode of Twilight Zone. It should still be up. If you look on my channel, there is a folder for the Twilight Zone because I was going to do a lot of them, and then it just became too strictly like monitored at the time. And honestly, not a lot of people were watching it. I think the first episode got like 20 views, and it was taking me forever to edit up. So I was like, it's like one of those things where I just got to pick and choose, and it just wasn't getting the feedback. I've restarted Sliders less than a week ago. I was watching episode 7 2 hours ago. Fuzzy, didn't it age bad? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the episode I watched was because I only rewatched one, and it seemed to have aged badly. You let me know if I'm wrong, but it seemed like it aged badly. The last season got a bit rough. Jerry O'Connell and the creators of Sliders are trying to bring the show back. I did read something about that. They were saying now, oh, that's right. Something similar to someone was saying earlier about how Netflix helps shows like gain success. Someone told me they think that they might bring Sliders back because Sliders would be one of those shows that would pay for like a Netflix, that would like benefit from a Netflix type scenario. So I would love to see that. I think they even said that all the people involved are still alive and would love to be part of it. That would be great. Last one I need. Oh, I just went too far again. I think I got to catch up again. Last one I need to recommend is Mad Men. Definitely saw Mad Men, Warrior. Easily in my top 3, right under the wire and The Sopranos. Incredible character drama all the way through. Watch a few and might get hooked. I definitely agree. I have everyone on Blu-ray right up here on my shelf. Watched them all a couple times. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite shows of all time, but definitely a very good show. I just watched a lot of shows. It's probably in my top 20. It wouldn't make my top 10, but it'd probably make my top 20. I definitely enjoyed it. Loved John Hamm. I loved the era and like all the people. And we got the, who's the guy? That was in something else I saw. I don't know. I'm not going to waste my time, but I can't think of the actor's name. The wormy guy that was married to the chick. What the hell was his name? I don't know. Have you ever watched The Shield? No, this was talked about earlier. I have never seen The Shield. Parents are a huge fan of it. It was in one of my polls. It was, I think, second. I did a poll months and months ago. I did a poll when I got Deadwood. I think Deadwood won the poll I'm talking about. But in that poll was Banshee, Deadwood, The Shield, Misfits, and something else. But Deadwood won. And I think Banshee was third or tied for second with The Shield. The Shield was definitely second. Banshee might have tied it. But I definitely want to see The Shield. My parents love it. They constantly watch these videos and they're like, do a show we've seen. They've seen Deadwood, but I've been falling behind on Deadwood because I always have problems. Deadwood got me flagged, and then the next week the audio messed up on OBS. So I've been falling behind on Deadwood, but I love Deadwood very, very much. Probably finishing season 1 this week. I think I got 2 episodes left, but I might try to get both out on Sunday. Trying to do a lot of things with Stranger Things, though, so we'll see if that happens. But definitely got to watch The Shield. Special effects and Creepshow trailer are superb. Ooh, so you like the trailer for Creepshow. There is a new Creepshow. If you weren't in here earlier, there's a trailer that dropped at Comic-Con. I have not seen it yet, so don't spoil it, but I hear it looks amazing. It's got Nicotero from Walking Dead involved, George Romero's ideas, and elements from Stephen King. So I love if you guys have seen Creepshow 1 and Creepshow 2, the movies, they're like anthologies. Which one did you like better? I have a special place in my heart for Creepshow 2. I have probably seen it over 100 times. I literally watched it earlier today, which is freaking me out because when I get sick, I like to watch old nostalgic 80s movies. So I watched Gremlins, and then I watched Indiana Jones, and then I watched Creepshow 2. And then I fell asleep and I woke up and all this leaked footage is out about Creepshow, the show on Shudder Channel. Very weird because it wasn't like, like in the back of my head, I was thinking Creepshow might have a thing on the panel. Why would I ever think that? Creepshow came out in the 80s. So like that was a little creepy that I watched Creepshow and now there's a new show coming out. Very, very interesting. But curious what you guys think. Creepshow 2, I liked both. Creepshow 1 was definitely more violent and aggressive in nature, whereas 2 was more like comedic. But I loved all the things like the raft and the wooden Indian guy and stuff. Love them. Let's see here. The Rick and Morty trailer is a random 2 minutes from an episode, not really a trailer. Can't you believe someone I think they did that for other seasons too. Didn't Rick and Morty last trailer for season 3 coming out? Didn't they just show you like a 2-minute segment from an episode and ended up being like an episode from like the end of the season or something? I feel like they do that a lot. Poor Jay, what are you going to do when you get 20 plus people in here commenting? You'll have stream all day. I actually don't mind. The only reason I'm going to stop soon is because I really have to go to sleep. I got this big family thing tomorrow, but I'm having a lot of fun and I cannot believe I talked for that long. This thing breezes by. I can't believe some of you were in the room that long. Like Ray and Steph have been here from the beginning. Seedless said goodbye, but it looks like he's still in the room. Unless I'm just not caught up to his comments yet. This isn't going to end. Do you think The Wire held up the hype? I'm from Ukraine and Chernobyl really hits home for me. Super accurate portrayal of the times according to my parents. Damn, Warrior, you're from Ukraine? Are you there right now or you live in the States now? That's crazy. And if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? Like, Were you alive when Chernobyl happened, or your parents were alive and just tell you about it? Well, he still has season 5 to be able to judge the whole show. Yeah. See, I don't want to judge the show as a whole for The Wire until I finish it out. Right now, it might sit tight in the bottom of my top 10, which is very high praise. I have seen hundreds of television shows, maybe, I don't want to say thousands, but I've definitely seen hundreds. So it's definitely sitting tight in the bottom 10 of my top 10 right now, The Wire. Still need to see season 5. I like to see how they tie things up. So, like I said, Lost had a subpar final season, and that's still in my top 3. So you could still have a subpar final season and still remain in my top. What do we got here? Up All Night with Rhonda. Oh my God, that's right, Ray. I think my brother's talking about the USA Up All Night. I think the girl's name might have been Rhonda. You could actually go on YouTube and type in USA Up All Night. I have done this, and YouTube has like montages of Gilbert Gottfried and this blonde girl that I'm talking about. I think Rhonda on this, you could see commercials of it. I want an audiobook of Gilbert Gottfried doing the audiobook of 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know if you're joking, Seedless, but that is a real thing. You could type on YouTube and Gilbert Gottfried I think it's a sketch, but I think it's like 5 or 6 minutes long, and it's Gilbert Gottfried reading the most raunchy segments of 50 Shades of Grey. Maybe that's what you're talking about, but that is a real thing. You could listen to Gilbert Gottfried reading 50 Shades of Grey, parts of it. The Jealous Soul song from Cats. Oh, it's so catchy. How do you say that? I guess you can't tell me. Why am I having trouble reading that? The Jealous Soul? I know the song you're talking about, but for some reason it looks weird to me right there. All right, someone's got to be the one to say it. Is it just me, or did the actor who plays Ziggy really show his dick? Because he was in Ken Park and showed it, and it did, and a bunch more with it. Because he was in Ken Park and showed and did a bunch more with it. I assumed it was his real dick. I don't know if it was. Maybe someone could confirm that, but I assumed it was his real dick. Dark is a Netflix original. I think about 50 minutes to an hour each episode. Okay, not bad. JoJo. Wait, no, Dark is a Netflix. Oh, it is a Netflix original, but a German Netflix original. Interesting. I like it because I was curious if it was commercials. I don't like when a show has commercials taken out, because like The 100, sometimes I'll watch it without commercials, and it has like abrupt pauses, whereas like HBO and stuff like that, Netflix don't have commercial breaks, so there's no abrupt pauses. Dark is an JoJo kind of reminds me of Doctor Who, only because of the new protagonist every season. I could see that. I didn't see either, but I know what you're talking about. What Are the Rules is a song in the Scott Bakula episode. Okay, I get what you're saying. Yes. I get what you're saying. I got so many things on my mind. I'm like forgetting which was which. Warrior is right. The episodes are anywhere from 45 to 50 minutes, and it was ordered by Netflix, so it has been made for streaming. Awesome. The chat kicked into overdrive as soon as Jay said it would be wrapping it up soon. I'm getting to the bottom, but like I said, I'm not trying to rush out of here. I mean, we've stayed at a solid 10 to 15 people for the majority of the time, and I'm seeing new people talking on occasion. So I guess we're losing some and getting some new ones. I started watching a new Cinemax show called Warrior. I love it. It's like Gangs of New York with Kung Fu. Warrior. I did see a trailer for that. I reacted to it, I think. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to go back and check. I'm pretty sure I reacted to a trailer for this because it came highly recommended by another guy who also it keeps asking me to watch. It's like a martial arts show that comes on AMC or around Walking Dead. I haven't seen that show either. It's like an Asian guy and the guy from Shaun of the Dead's in it. And it's like a martial arts type movie that takes place back in the day. He wanted me to watch, he recommended I react to that. And then he showed me this, and I think I reacted to this trailer. I actually did want to see it. I just started watching a new Steph. Is it all out right now? Like, what episode are they on? I know exactly what you're talking about, but I didn't know it was out yet. Very curious about that. I might, depending on how far they are in, maybe I'll start doing like a weekly thing. Have you seen any Wong Kar-woo films? Not sure if you name the films. I'm not familiar with that name, but I might have seen the movies. Sliders was truly great in the first 2 seasons. Then it changed network and it became so bad. It did an awful CGI, but for the most part, it didn't use it, at least in the first 2 seasons. I remember the CGI being horrendous. That's probably when CGI started coming out. What network did it go to, Fuzzy? I don't remember that. I remember I just assumed it was always on the same thing. What did it start on and what did it go to? My brother saying Fuzzy Dunlop, in the right hands, it would make a great Netflix type show. JJ, please. Yeah, that would be awesome if JJ teamed up and did Sliders. I know I've seen a few Wong Kar-woo films, Happy Together, Chungking Express, and 2046. I don't think I've seen any of those. If you're not a big fan of animation, I can't imagine how badly you avoided Morale Oral. Is that Moral Oral or Morale Oral? I've never heard of that either. Yeah, I watched it on Funny or Die. Oh, yeah, okay. That was on Funny or Die. The Gilbert Godfrey thing, reading 60 Shades of Grey. Funny or Die. Great stuff. Holy shit, Morale Oral is so good. What is that? I guess it's an anime, or at least an animation. The new network, I just needed to let the creators, Ray Masters, the new network just needed to let the creators do what they wanted to do instead of forcing them to, I get you. So it wasn't so much the show's fault as the network. I've lived in Canada for a long time, was born there though, only 22, so I definitely wasn't there considering it was 1986. Chernobyl showed us many things even my parents had no idea about. Interesting. I didn't realize it was that in-depth a documentary. That's pretty cool. Definitely going to see Chernobyl. That is literally on my list of priorities. Chernobyl's up there. Because it's also a quick watch, and I don't want to wait too long till it like becomes irrelevant. Not that it becomes irrelevant, but like it's hyped right now, and I don't want to like wait a year and then be like, hey, remember that HBO miniseries no one cares about anymore? I finally found the one. Sealess Watermelon, you watch Morale? I finally found the one. Oh, so apparently it's not a popular show. Yes, too bad it got canceled. I never heard of it. I binge watched season 2's finale and all of the season 3. Instant regret. Cried like 3 times. Fucking amazing show. What is it? Warrior has one season so far. I bought it on Amazon. Interesting. Steph, would you recommend? Is it really, really good? Like I should watch it right away, or it's just like a good watch? Because I remember seeing it, and Warrior looked like it definitely raised my expectations. The lost 128th commandment Oral is thou shalt watch Morale Oral. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Morale Oral. Hardcore animation fans who haven't won't watch it. I know hardcore animation fans who haven't and won't watch it. The other show you were talking about is Into the Badlands. Yes, Into the Badlands. Many people have requested that, but I've never got into it. It's just, like I said, not enough time. I have nothing against it. It has Nick Frost from Shaun of the Dead. Yes. Did you see the recreated one of the episodes that was never finished? Did you see they recreated one of the episodes that was never finished? Are you still talking about Morale or whatever? I have it on my liked videos. Oh, I think you're still talking about that. Warrior is a show based on the writings of Bruce Lee. Yes, I did. I remember they were talking about that in the trailer. He wanted to make it into a show in the late 70s. It's made by the creator of Banshee, who is, with the approval of Bruce Lee's daughter. I think, did it have anything to do with the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood movie coming out? Because I know there's segments where Bruce Lee's shown in that, at least in the trailer. And I think somebody told me that they reference the movie, the show that Bruce Lee wanted to make in that. Maybe I could be cross-referencing stories. Morale Oral, pronounced oral. So Moral Oral is a claymation cartoon on Adult Swim that parodied religion in a way that didn't make fun of people who believed in it. Got insanely dark. I don't ever remember hearing that. Is it older or newer? Chungking Express is so good. Actually, its 3rd episode in, and its third season got it canceled, and the season shortened. Its third episode in its third season got it canceled. Oh, its third episode in the third season got it canceled. So I guess you're talking about Moral Orel. Its third episode in its third season got it canceled, I guess, for a religious spoof. Sliders was on Fox for the first 3 seasons. That's what I thought. In season 3, they kind of ruined it trying to raise the ratings. Season 4 and 5 were picked up by Sci-Fi Channel. I do kind of remember that. And that was it, 5 seasons? I think that was it. They tried to make a second half of Moral Orel season 3 with his grandpa, but it never happened. Well, I guess this is good night. That is the bottom of the page. Actually, Moral Orel aired around the same time as the original Aqua Teen Hunger Force. So like 2000, I used to watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force all the time. I do not remember. Maybe if I saw like a shot of it, I'd remember. I don't know though. That's interesting. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. I am probably going, now that I caught up on the chat, we still got 11 people. The funny thing is the most people we've had in the last like hour. It got canceled not because of religion spoof. Good night, everybody. Take care, Watermelon. I'm not leaving, guys. I'm going to stay another minute or two. Watermelon, take care, brother. I am probably going to attempt to buy The Quake because if you weren't here earlier, the disaster movie, huge fan of disaster movies. Steph recommended The Quake and Dark. Both recommendations I take very highly because Steph recommended stuff to me in the past and it's very good stuff. So this is my vitamin water. This is not an alcoholic beverage. Whenever I have, because I used to drink a lot, whenever I have colored beverages in a Poland Springs bottle, everyone I know immediately think I have like a vodka mixed drink or something. It is my vitamin water. I was ill earlier, as I said, and I don't want to jeopardize my day tomorrow. I have a lot of family things to do. So I remember seeing commercials for it, reminded me of Davy or something that was a claymation back when I was little. Never saw it though. React to the JoJo openings for views, bro. I'm definitely going to check it out, C-List. Definitely going to check it out. I think I'm going to have to head to bed too. I have work in the morning or later today since it's almost 1 a.m. Davy and Goliath. I do remember Davy and Goliath, Ray. But on that note, I think I'm going to leave too, guys, because I caught up to the bottom. C-List, Steph are leaving. C-List and Steph are leaving. And that means there'll be like 7 or 8 people, and that counts me and my brother. So I am very happy to see you all again. I'm happy we could do this live chat stuff again. Sorry, my bed is a mess and I look like crap. I told you I was sick. I didn't have time to really clean my room up like I wanted to and stuff. Almost canceled the chat. I'm really happy I didn't. I can't believe I just talked for 4 hours. This is the longest live stream I've ever done. On a day I feel like crap and thought I was going to cancel, I do the longest one ever. So thank you all for involving yourselves. I hope we get more people next time. I'm going to try to figure out a time slot that works best for people. You guys let me know in comments and stuff like that what you think, what day you prefer, if this works for you, if this didn't work for you. Let me know if you didn't watch it. If you see it later on, let me know why you couldn't watch it. If like certain days work better for certain people, I might do it. So love you all. I'm going to check out and can you believe someone actually, good to see you in the chat. I don't think I've seen you comment much. Maybe you're new. Maybe you just found me. Hope you subscribe. We had a lot of good talks. So I appreciate everything. Same with you too, Warrior in there somewhere. I had numbers after it too. I think he's gone. But all of you, great time. Thanks for the talk. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the questions. I'll see you all tomorrow or whatever. You'll see me sooner than I'll see you. Later, guys. Peace.